this is going to be a pretty open-ended, free-form type breakdown of the Remix Community Center run. Um, I'm going to pause a lot in this. I've actually got it set up so I can pause in engine, and so I can like show people like what I'm doing when I go through the tasks while it's playing out. So that hopefully it's a little bit easier to try and explain things or to maybe look at some RNG stuff or what's going on here. Um, Before we get into the actual run, I think it's worth kind of going through like what are the remix bundles and like why did I choose the specific ones that I did, to give people sort of a flavor of like what are the decisions that come here, and maybe someone else has been like, yo, and like you're stupid, like here's the thing you should be doing. Um, so as we go through, most of these bundles are basically all the same. There's only a couple kind of key decision points as you go through, but I'm just going to go through them all fairly quickly just so that we have an idea of sort of what the decision making process was here. Craftsroom's pretty easy. So you have your spring forge. Does this all come through, by the way? Is this big enough? Should I make this bigger? That looks fine on my overlay, but and if people have an issue, just again throw it in the chat. I am watching, so if there's like, hey, this is garbage or whatever, just let me know. Spring forage, pretty easy. Spring onions are just like the worst because you have to run all the way down to actually get spring onions, so you just don't pick them. So basically you just want vanilla for this. Summer, awesome. Summer, it's all the same. Fall is basically all the same. Winter doesn't really matter. You get 4 of these. You obviously want the winter root and the snow yam because you can just get those from tilling whenever. The other ones, it kind of just varies on your seed which one's best. For our case, we get crocus, crystal fruit, just because it's straightforward. And then we have a couple different bundle selections we get to pick from. So we have construction bundle or sap or the sticky bundle. This one sucks. 500 sap is so much sap. You have to basically chop like 100 trees. That's just not going to happen in the course of a run. This one's hard because you need 10 hardwood, but that's still way more attainable than chopping 100 trees. It's just not going to happen in a sort of a short amount of time, both from an energy perspective and just like when would you do 100 treetops? It's just not going to happen. Similarly here, you have exotic forage versus wild medicine. 5 items of these is a lot. I don't really have a good way of getting fiddlehead ferns. I don't want to get an axe upgrade if possible, so I'm not going to go to the secret woods. I'm definitely not going to get 2 axe upgrades, so I'm not going to go to the secret woods. So I would need to go to a skull caverns floor, and I would need to get 5 on that floor, which is just like almost unattainable. White algae you could probably get from fishing. Summer crops would be slow for hops, but you could do it. So ultimately, it just becomes a lot easier to go for exotic. We can get mushrooms from cave floors. We can get cave carrots from the mines. These are pretty easy desert forage, so we're just going to do exotic here again. So craftsroom is actually pretty much just vanilla. There's really nothing else that you would want to do here. On pantry, again, most of this is vanilla. So spring crops, summer crops, fall crops. This does mean we have to talk to Pierre at least 3 times because we need to buy a green bean. We need to buy, I think, tomato and blueberry. I don't remember which seeds exactly now off the top of my head. But whatever seeds we need for the summer crops, fall crops again. So we're going to have to go out 3 days minimum just to talk to Pierre to buy our seeds. Then we have a couple choices here on, the bundles we want. You could do quality crops. This isn't awful. You could go buy these seeds and you could plant them. Rare crops, it turns out, is just a lot easier. It's just 1 item. This is actually really good from an inventory perspective because, we just don't need to have that many items in our inventory to actually manage this. Ancient fruit's a little annoying. We'd have to go get the artifact, give it to Gunther, deal with the menus and the screen transitions of going into the museum. So this one I'm kind of, touchy on. You could definitely do it. Whereas Sweet Gemberry, we just have to go on the day that we go talk to the wizard. We just stop by the traveling cart and, go pick up a rare seed. So that's actually really simple. So this tends to just be, I think, a lot easier than doing any of the quality crops. We also don't have to worry about quality crop manip. We don't have to worry about, the specific tiles that we place on. We get a lot more flexibility by just saying, okay, let's just go buy this seed as we come through. Then we have this set of bundles. So animal bundle, this is trash. This is something you never want to do if you can avoid it for Remixed, because every single one of these requires us to go to Robin and build some type of building upgrade. right? So if we want eggs, these eggs here, we would need to get a normal coop, large coop. We either need to get a barn or for a sheep, or we need to get our rabbits, we need a deluxe. And then again, we would need a barn or a large barn for the goats here. So this is one of those bundles that just takes forever to do RTA. Because of having to go to Robin and deal with this, you'd need to have the money all lined up for it. You have to actually deal with like animal friendship and relationships, and that's just super slow. So not worth it. Fish farmer doesn't even need to talk about this. There's no way I'm gonna deal with getting 15 row on top of getting the fish pond on top of everything else. It's just like this is just not possible. Garden bundle is honestly super easy. It's 4 extra crops in months that I'm already going to have to do crops for anyways. There is literally no reason not to just do garden bundle. This is just super simple. It fits in nicely with everything we want to do. It just is, it's clearly the best choice of these 3. And then we have sort of that last selection here, which is your artisan versus brewers. We don't have a keg, and we are not going to get a keg except for the artisan bundle. So this is just like not viable. Like you just don't have a keg to get any of these items. You wouldn't get tea leaves because we're not going to talk to Carolyn ever. Maybe we could find a cart that had the exact right item pool for this, but it's just not practical. So artisan's pretty much the only choice here. Most of these are items we can just get directly from the Batcave. And we'll see how that happens later. And some of the idiocy that I have is around that will come apparent as I go through. Fish tank. Again, fish tank is like almost exactly vanilla. There's only one choice that you get to make, and it's sort of what that final bundle is. And honestly, you could go one of 2 ways. I think specialty is totally fine. I think you could just go pure vanilla on this one. Turns out in this run, I actually don't know if the day I go to the cart I could have bought a puffer fish or not. I don't think so. But you could probably route this. This is kind of slow because you have to wait for that noon, but you could make this work in theory. These are easy. Ghost fish are easy. Sandfish is easy. Wood skip we can get on the forest farm, so that's not really a problem there. Quality fish. This is nice because we just catch an extra fish anytime we need to catch one of the fish that we already need anyways. So we just roll this in to when we're already fishing. We don't have to worry about, changing up our timing of our route. We don't have to worry about enemy drops or going and fishing specifically in the mines. We don't have to worry about, again, fishing on our farm or whatever. We get to just, I'm already at the mountain or on the river or doing whatever. I'll just catch an extra fish while I'm there. And then again, this one is just not practical. Though actually, like, if you could get the experience for it, I mean, these wouldn't be that bad. Like, generally not that bad. But you really won't have the fishing experience to go get a lava eel on the line. You need, like, I think level 4 for a scorpion carp. And again, I don't plan to get that high level. So there's just no real way to get these ones. Boiler room. Here, again, we get to basically pick 3 out of the set of bundles that you have. So you have your normal kind of vanilla bundles. You have adventurers, which could have bone fragments. You're always going to want essences. Essences are just super easy, so there's no reason you would want any other. No matter what the role is, you just want to make sure that there's those 2 in there. Blacksmith, pretty easy. You could smelt these. You could get a furnace if you wanted to. It's actually really easy to get these items as drops from Shadow Brutes or Shadow Shamans, so it's just better to go that route anyways. And then Geologist, you'll just pick these up as you're going down. Because of some of the things that I'm trying to do in the run, ultimately, I'm going to need to hit floor 120 of the mines. And so, all of these are pretty much free to go pick up along the way. This isn't a terrible bundle. Treasure Hunters. Treasure Hunters. The only problem is it's just 5 inventory slots, which actually becomes a problem at some points because we just are constantly strapped for, like, what inventory space we have. And so, not hard to get, but, like, it's just a lot more work to come through. And this Lucky Lunch doesn't really buy us anything, so it doesn't really have any benefit there. In fact, I don't really pick up any bundle rewards. I pick up 2 bundle rewards across the entirety of the run. And we'll call those out when those happen. And again, this one, doable. pain in the butt, probably not worth it. I would definitely need to like figure out how to get refined quartz from the crystals that spawn in the ice floors, or I'd have to go get a furnace. Battery pack, probably more likely looking at Pam gifting versus this. And then iridium ore we can do, but this is harder than these ones. And so these ones just kind of fit in naturally to like, I'm already progressing through the mines. There's no reason to do anything else. Then bulletin board, we got to pick 5 of these. Now, this is where a lot of the decision making I think comes through. Chef's bundle, a lot of really tough items. I don't really like routing cart as a mandatory requirement for these runs. I prefer to really do more source requirement things. And if I happen to be at the cart and there's an item there for me to pick up, I'll pick up that item then at that moment. But like, I don't really like routing entirely around the cart as like the only source of getting that item. So to me, maple syrup, this is tough because we just aren't going to have forging experience for a tapper. Fiddlehead Fern, again, we could go get one if we needed to from, Skull Caverns, but the truffle here is just impossible. We would have to cart this specifically because we'd have to go and get a deluxe barn, and we have to get a pig, and then we got to wait for the pig to grow. And this ends up being like probably 10 minutes of time that we would just don't want to spend if possible. These ones we could probably manipulate dish of the day type drops if we wanted to, or we could do the house upgrade. But again, that's another visit to Robin, which is slow. So if we can avoid NPC visits as much as possible, that's really what we're trying to do. And again, thinking back, right now we've basically got 3 locked NPC visits we have to do, which are just visiting Pierre for the spring, summer, fall crops. So Chef's Bundle probably out. Dye Bundle, there is a huge variety that we can take here. We could get a beet from the Oasis. Red mushrooms are super easy, so that just seems like an obvious pick. Sea urchins, again, we could go to the beach and get them, but we already have to do fall crops, so we might as well just pick up an amaranth while we're there. Same with sort of starfruit versus sunflower. Sunflower we're going to actually want for a different bundle. We're actually going to need that for the gardening bundle, right? So we're already going to have one. So if we can just roll that one as a second, it's just basically free, right? In fact, dropping this thing, it can drop an extra seed, which means we can already replant it and we don't have to even worry about it. So that one's very nice. Duck feather, obviously we don't want. Cactus fruits we just pick up off the ground. You could argue either of these is fine. Again, we need a blueberry for our summer crop bundle. And when you pick up the blueberry, you're going to get 3. So you might as well just take this. But like if you needed to for like RNG purposes or for like seed selection purposes, get an aquamarine, this wouldn't be a terrible option. Because you can just get an aquamarine for free again somewhere in the mines. And then red cabbage versus iridium bar. This is one that I think most people would be like, okay, so you're going to manip, an early red cabbage seed or whatever. But it turns out it's really easy to get this rarely obtained monster drop item when you control all RNG. So it turns out iridium bar is just simply much simpler to get here, or much easier to get. So we're going to end up picking dye bundle, do red mushroom, amaranth, sunflower, cactus fruit, blueberry, and iridium bar. Then into field research. This one, pretty easy. Really not a lot has to go here. I do have to catch a chub, which, takes some time, but it's really not bad. Fodder bundle. This one looks annoying, but again, because it's a task, and I know what tile I'm going to place things on, I can really heavily just roll this. One of the nice mechanics is that wheat, as a variable drop, can drop hay. It has a 40% chance to drop hay when harvested. But again, we know the tiles, we know all the RNG, so we'll just plant wheat on tiles that give us the hay. So we don't even have to worry about it. So we don't have to talk to Marnie. Marnie can get hecked. It doesn't matter. I don't realize the Desert Trader gave us hay. That's weird. And then again, we can get our apples from the Bat Cave. Enchanter's Bundle. This one again feels bad, but there's not a lot of better options. Oak resin is still tough, but at least there are mechanisms to get oak resin. We can get it from, we could go make a tapper. We would need, level 2 foraging, and we need the copper. We could go unlock the quarry, and we could go get it from one of the quarry things. I don't know if it shows it in here or not. From the haunted skulls. I thought about this for a long time. That's a huge pain in the butt because you have to actually walk into the quarry mine in order to trigger this. At which point, any infested floor that is sort of quarry designated could have those skulls spawn on it. Instead, we're gonna just meme out and just go buy a wood chipper from Robin and just make a hardwood turn into it because it's just way easier. Rabbit's Foot. I showed this in the last CC run that I did, but we can just manipulate a serpent to drop one for us so we don't have to worry about it. And then the only really hard thing is we need to get this keg to get a wine. And the struggle there is that we just need to get that keg before, like, in time, such that we're not waiting for that wine to produce. So we do have to finish this somewhat early so that we get the keg in time to actually come through. Where am I? Yeah, and then pomegranate again, super easy. Children's bundle. This one looks disgusting, and it is, but I think it's still much easier than some of these other ones. If you go look at forager bundle, there's no way we're gonna get 50 of either of these things. Like, this would just be absurd to go run around. It's unclear to me if, like, on 2 days worth of time running around town, if I would actually get to 50 of either of these, or 20 of these even. So this just super impractical, immediately gets cut out. So that's already 2 that we can't do. So we can't do chef and we can't do forager. And you look at home cook, I could get an early or a single barn and a single coop, and I could get chickens and whatever. I could buy 100 wheat flour, but this also really sucks. So it's kind of between children's bundle and home cook. And when you think about it, okay, cookies, we actually can get in the mail for free. Ice cream we can buy from Sandy on Sundays, or we could figure out how to make Summer Day last long enough that we could go buy it at the ice cream stand. Ancient Dolls kind of like trolly, but in principle we could manipulate or find a way to go get that either from a chest or from the ground. We actually got super lucky in the current run, and I'll kind of highlight that. And then salmon berries. 10 is a lot, but like doable inside of the bat cave at least. So that kind of sort of seals the set of bundles that we're going to take here. So we're ended up taking children's bundle, not foragers, not home cook, and not chef bundle. And then finally vault is just the same. So that's kind of our breakdown on bundles. I think you could argue for some variation here. I think aquamarine, if you're just trying to open up RNG for other things, it turns out when I looked at seeds that had all of this, there are only 17 seeds that have my exact set of bundles that I'm looking for. And then I'm looking for very specific other things. One of the big things I want is an early fairy so that I can get all my crops grown for that first day. And so there's really only one seed that I found that had the RNG specifically that I want. What's nice is it has an early bream in the cart on a day that I want to go to the cart, so I can just pick that up. And also it has a floor 20 club, which, I would love to have one earlier, but this is the best I can do. So that's kind of the seed selection and the choice of remix bundles. Yeah, and then really, I've looked at a couple of these other ones. I think the hard part for me is just you don't get enough money early enough to buy the backpack, which I think you really desperately need to get everything rolling, because inventory space is just horrendous in this run. And ultimately, I end up buying the 3rd tier of backpack because I don't go out that many days. And so I just need to do everything as early as possible. I need to get that backpack as soon as possible. There are some interesting seeds. This one has, a basic sprinkler in it. It has literally a full garden bundle worth of flowers in it. So you don't even have to plant them. But again, garden bundle's not hard to do. It has a honey, which, helps in that artisan dream. This one has a lobster, which is kind of nice if you don't want to deal with getting a crab. But and then, bream is better than eel in terms of I already have to wait. The way that remix bundles are seeded, me and Mermaid were talking, and I just never actually did the math, but I need to at some point. Go and look at actually all of the different, physically possible seeds and how they're distributed. because I don't think all of, like, I think all of them are technically possible, but because it's all correlated randoms, or it's cascading randoms, I guess, it's unclear to me that you can actually get every single combination possible and that they're actually like equally likely. And a lot of this RNG is just because of, inherently there's so many different configurations of die bundles, right? Because there's 2 to the 6 different die bundles. You go and look at the quality bundle. There's a ton of different configurations of the quality bundle, right? Because it can be one of these, one of these, one of these. And so again, there's lots of variety there, but ultimately most of them are not that relevant or not that important anyways. All right, so I think that's most of what I wanted to kind of do on the before actually starting the run. With that, let's kind of kick off here. So I have this thing set up to basically do, hopefully automate kind of walking through and pausing on specific frames for me. And I realized, because I'm not a professional streamer, that I should turn off the thing that's blocking the screen. Hopefully game audio will come through, and we're going to kind of just casually walk through the run. Let me get my notes set up so that I just have everything ready to go. Where are my notes? Notes. All right. Let's get started. And again, if audio's not coming through, let me know. All right. This is just before we're actually going to kick off. One of the things, again, to note, and that probably happened super fast. I need to, just so I have a mouse so I can show you guys what's going on. We are choosing male. This again is because we want those cookies. And then I think that's pretty much all I gotta kind of do for this portion. We'll go on to the next step. All right, this is now going to play basically up until about spring 11, or no, spring 9. Spring 9's are the first day that we're really going to do anything on the run. We get trolled by Owly immediately. Do we have a game audio? Is game audio coming through? Or is it just super quiet? Did I lose my headset? Okay. Well, I don't have game audio anymore, but that's fine with me, to be honest, because this game is outrageously loud. I don't know how I broke my own audio, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, no, Owly came in to bless / troll the run instantly. She's perched at like the perfect place to like view the farm. All right, so today we are going to get a bunch of cauliflowers down, and we're going to do that by manipulating mixed seed drops. And so I'm going to kind of just do some very slow frame advances here to kind of walk through. What I'm doing here is I'm basically going to wait for very specific frame RNG to break these weeds. There's sort of a roll that'll happen when you break them to spawn a mixed seed. And so here I'm basically pausing to have that mixed seed drop happen. I'm not going to do this for the entire thing. But effectively what I'm doing is I'm slowly waiting for RNG counters to happen so that it aligns correctly to cause that mixed seed to drop there. And I'm basically going to do that for the rest of this sort of day. Some of these are a little bit long. There's more manipulation I could be doing here, but at some points I'm trying to limit how much flashing I actually cause, because the true way to manipulate a lot of this stuff is through menu manipulation. And if you've watched Vault% or you watched this one, some of that stuff can become just super egregious and not really nice to watch. So I'm just not doing it for now. I think if I really want to badly optimize, that's kind of what you have to do, but it's not fun to run and it's not really fun to watch. So I just don't do it. So I get up here, we're kind of collecting all of our seeds. Then we're going to start tilling. And the tiles that we till are in a specific order. And that's to try and induce a fairy to spawn on the right thing. And also, we're planting on very specific frames. Draw toggle, mix seeds. Mix seed? What do I call it? So on a specific frame, it will try and give you a particular type of seed from this mixed seed here. And I don't want potatoes, I specifically want cauliflowers. So we're gonna wait 1 frame. Now it wants to give me a cauliflower, and then I will plant. So that's effectively the type of manipulation that I'm doing here. I'm waiting for the mixed seed like logic, or like the mixed seed check, to have the right RNG such that I always am getting the right thing out of them. In this case here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to plant 17 cauliflowers so that I can get to level 2 farming and get enough money for a backpack. And again, this seems a little weird. This is specifically to manipulate where the fairy is gonna hit. I basically need it to hit one of these 2 tiles so that it grows all of these crops here. I've already broken the thing. So what is the logic that I'm supposed to be doing? That was possible. I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so then we're gonna go sleep. We're gonna zoom in here because we're getting a fairy. All of this manipulation is specifically to handle getting both the fairy to hit one of these tiles to get weather that I want on the 11th, and to keep an artifact spot in the correct location. That's one of those things that's not visible right now, but is very, very important to the run. So the fairy tile is basically, there's a dictionary of all of the terrain features. So that's grass, that's hoed dirt, so these types of tiles, the trees, not rocks, not weeds, not twigs, so grass, trees, hoe dirt. There's a dictionary of those that's basically like the tile coordinate and the actual object that's there, and it iterates over that list in a particular, like it basically pulls a pairs list from that, like key value pair list, and it runs those in order. So dictionary insertion is wonky, and sometimes it makes sense and it's like actually in sorted tile order. The actual fairy check is, I believe, is actually like game seed dependent, and you actually can predict that without having to worry. But yeah, so effectively it's rolling through that list of terrain features, finding the ones that are hoe dirt, which is the type basically of these things, so the tillable tiles, or the tilled tiles, checking if they have a crop on them, and then it rolls basically a check to see whether or not it should hit it or not. So this is just trying to arrange this. Some of the step manipulation, I think, is basically causing other features on the farm to grow or to shrink. And again, I think this is one of those manips that just feels like black magic. No, the zoom in is because the time of the fairy to come onto the screen is faster. So if you were zoomed out, the fairy would basically like slowly like dawdle their way across the entirety of the screen to the center point. But here the fairy moves at the same speed, but there's less screen real estate to travel because you're zoomed in. That's basically what's happening. I should really have put questions on screen, but I am a scuffed streamer who doesn't know how to do that, so we're not going to deal with it. Oh, you're creating items in the dictionary in an order that means it gets pulled back out in the right order. Correct. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Sometimes it feels like it should be simpler. Sometimes it feels like I do all this work and yet it just comes out in perfect like tile order, like XY coordinate order. And sometimes C# way of dealing with this dictionary insertion does not feel like it's correct. And yeah, I think zoom strats have become more common because also like when you get trolled by a fairy that you don't want, it at least saves you time if you're just going to be sleeping for long periods. So this is definitely a thing that people for sure do. What frame should I be stopping on at this point? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, let me just check what pause frame I should be going to. Yeah, okay, that's right. Right. This will pause us back to the next thing that I want to talk about. All right, now we're again doing a little bit of manipulation. That's for, I believe for weather or for luck. I don't remember. Oh no, it's a luck manipulation there. Here we're going to harvest all of our cauliflowers. This is now our 17 cauliflowers grown. We have enough for farming 2. We have enough for money for our backpack. Because our inventory is extremely tight throughout this run, we just need a backpack today. We're going to be picking up so many items because we're only going to go out like 4 or 5 times. And so we just need to have extra inventory space whenever possible. So we're going to pick up, we check the mail there quick just to go to, so we can talk to Willie and go pick up the fishing rod. We're able to basically pick up large amounts of these in, you know, a small number of frames. So here, we mouse over this thing, we right click, we, in the same frame as we right click, we move the mouse, we then move the mouse and click X to do the same thing. It's basically the same action as right clicking, so it's a pickup animation. We can then basically pick up all 5 inside of 5 frames. Then we scythe and then animation cancel out. So we're able to pick up all of these crops super fast. We again do the same thing here. We again do the same thing here. And now we're gonna go make a chest quick. And so we're gonna again come through, make this chest. This is a very tactical, not picked up piece of wood. When you fully chop 3 trees, you get 51 wood, and I only want 50 for the chest. And I don't want the extra one in my inventory, so it's easier for me to deal with. So this is a sort of, I actually think I've done this in a couple other runs too, but you explicitly try not to pick up one of the pieces of wood. And debris mechanics are the worst. It's one of the things that I wish I understood more, and I just don't. How some of that pickup stuff works. And so sometimes you will, yeah, and this one you get the slow slide to the right chopping, which again I think is fun. We get our pickup, we basically plant everything. We water the parsnip. We probably don't have to bother with this, but again, I'm trying to avoid however much like weather manipulation I have to do. We get our potato seed down. We already have a cauliflower, so we're just missing a green bean from the spring crops. We've dropped off most of our inventory into this chest because again, we are going to pick up a lot of stuff before we can ultimately get a backpack. This is going to now carry us over. We unfortunately don't have anything to make it easier for us to run down here, and we don't have inventory for like a scythe for pickup stuff, so we're going to be a little bit slow about some of this stuff. We're on a 9 o'clock timer today. We're basically waiting for Pierre to open. And this solves all of our problems. I did not plan for this initially, but this spot here on this day, on this steed, gives an ancient doll. And this is the thing that allows us to actually do that remix bundle. Now I've forgotten the name of it already. Whatever the bundle's called. Children's bundle. So this basically gives us makes the run viable. Turns out I could have gotten one on a different day, also later in the run, but again, we don't need it here, so it doesn't super matter. Or I guess now that we have it, we don't have to worry about it anymore. Why did that not pause when it was supposed to? Whatever. Anyways, we get our ancient doll there. Basically solves most of those problems. We also get to pick up our horseradish, so we're really just missing a leek now and a daffodil from our spring forage. Is this thing gonna actually pause on the right frame? No, it's not. Okay, so this thing is just broken. Cool. I guess I'm just gonna manual pause for now. We get a really nice beach. And again, this is one of those things where I just checked the seed and it ended up being perfect, and I could not have asked for better than this. So we get all 4 items that we need here just on the day. Don't have to worry about it. I don't directly seed for this. It just happens to be that the seed I've picked has this in it. which is again where I'm like, this is probably one of the best seeds I could have found for this particular bundle route. Because Crab Pot is a required bundle, you'll always get it. We need to come back here in order to trigger the community center opening cutscene, so we're just running back basically for that. We're going to drop this ancient doll because, again, we don't have enough inventory space, and we really badly want to pick up Daffodil here so we can just bring it into the community center and drop it off. We'll go get that ancient doll later. It won't despawn as long as we don't leave the game, and because we're tasked, we don't ever leave the game. We'll come in here, we'll go click this. I'm too fast for myself, and my auto-pausing thing didn't work. So we're gonna just sort of do a quick little inventory drop where all we're just doing is just mousing over, dropping these things through. And then as long as they're kind of still in action, we don't, magnetism those things to us, and we're able to avoid them coming through. Hey, mermaid. And so we're able to come through. Now we're gonna go to Pierre's to go buy our seeds. And we're early, which I am shocked by. We have done so much today, and the fact that we're actually early is unbelievable to me. So we have a little bit of time to just meme in front of his door. We got to sell first. We buy all of our seeds here. So we bought our green bean and our 2 flowers that we're going to need for the garden bundle. We sold off all of our cauliflower, and now I'm waiting for the stupid thing to tick so that I can go buy this backpack. One of the things that's really annoying about menus in this game is this popped up here, and it feels like it should be actionable, but it's not. There's a thing called a safety timer. Reducing buying animation time. I think so. I mean, I'm half stack selling, and then I sell individuals off of that once I'm done. The problem is that I can't like one shot the sell. I still have like 3 different sell actions that happen. So it's a half sell and then 2 singleton sells to get me to the right amount that I want, because I still want a bunch of these cauliflower for energy. So it's faster than than partitioning the stack and selling the full stack, but it's not. I don't have a better way of doing it as far as I know. Okay, so I did. Okay, you figured that out, and I had already been like well past this time by the time you figured it out, and I was like, I think I did what you wanted, but I'm unclear. So the annoying part of this is that this menu feels like it should be active, but there's about a 30 frame window where it tries to save you from like accidentally making purchases or accidentally selecting things. So I'm just stuck here waiting for an extended amount of time until it finally lets me buy this stupid thing. And I'll just start advancing forward so that you don't have to watch. But it's one of my most like annoyed things is that you just can't. Yeah, actually almost all menus have a safety timer on them. Certain ones don't. I don't think the Mines ladder does, for example. Sleeping doesn't. I think most shop menus do though. Maybe it's only shop menus now that I think about it. Well, yeah, the cat menu does too, so that's definitely true too. Then this, again, you have to wait a second for it to actually be like actionable. And now we're out again. Yeah, so so for your case, what you should be doing, Mermaid, is just saying current menu.safety timer. Will tell you the amount of milliseconds or approximate milliseconds, because he does math wrong, because he has it every tick is 16 and not 16.6667 or whatever. So this will tell you the exact safety timer of that menu so that you don't have to worry about that. Let's set the pause frame to the next thing. We're just gonna manual this thing for the rest of it. 1943. One pause. I spent a lot of time trying to create a pausing system so that I could like sequence a bunch of stages of things and have it like, oh, just go to the next pause event. And I've instantly broken it, so I'm just giving up. So here we're gonna come up. This is really annoying to me. There's literally only one leak that spawns like anywhere on this thing at any time, and it's right here. So like I have to come here to get this leek. There is literally no other leek to get. And the other thing to note is I got very nervous. Linus does not destroy this wild horseradish. He actually curves up just in front of it. So you don't have to worry. In fact, we can go look at that quick. He has not destroyed this thing. Because forcing on farm sucks. Like you could, so that's the answer to lots of things. It's like I could step manip, like forage farm forage, or forage on the forest farm, excuse me, to be anywhere, and it is just not fun and potentially lots and lots of steps. But you know, you have this sort of view that you can kind of come to. All right, back to this. Yeah, that's true of lots of stuff, to be honest. All right, we are in the mines. So one of the there's a couple of different like mechanical things to note here. I think I've done it before in text form, but the actual like layout of a floor is decided based on the second, like real-time second, though in this case here, I'm somewhere far, far into the future, like 2030 or some whatever this RNG seed is supposed to indicate to. It's probably much further than that, actually, if I were to go look. But based on the second, it is when you click the actual ladder. So sometimes you might see me pause in front of a ladder. That's to basically wait to re-roll how rocks spawn, where crates are, how monsters spawn. And I'm trying to basically manipulate this so that I get better floors. And actually, I guess I might do this. Load engine mines. To kind of give more of a view on like what's exactly going on here. And so this is sort of what I'm looking at when I'm doing mining. I basically have a line that'll just tell me this is where the closest zero rock is. Zero being this is the one that if you break it, it's going to give you a ladder right away. So I'm basically kind of just pathing to those. In this case here, none of these rocks will spawn a ladder, and that's because there's already one on the screen. And that's actually kind of indicated by the coloration here. A lot of this is legacy stuff that makes sense to me when I first did this, and I have just not kept it. I'm sure Mermaid was like, what are you doing? None of this makes any sense to me. Because like could have been a yellow color here, could be white, could just be nonsense. But we come through, again, we get a pretty easy one. We get a nice, easy earth crystal here to pick up. We need that again for one of our bundles. And we break this rock. We animation cancel through it. We'll unpause again. What's the next pause room I want to get to? Okay, you didn't question. I would have been like, what on earth were you thinking? But to be fair, you're probably like that for most of the stuff, because a lot of this stuff is just like stuff that made sense in my head when I first started doing this like 4 years ago. So we're again rolling. This is the floor that I think if you're photosensitive, you would probably want to look away on a normal run. We'll walk through one example of what doll farming looks like. So, yeah, that's fair. One of the things in the mines, and we'll come back over to this quick, is that depending on where you are, yeah, okay. So maybe it was a little more logical than I thought. There's lots of different items that can spawn from tilling in the mines. And, you know, if you're looking for specific artifacts, they're all kind of there. The things that we're interested in are these strange dolls, which have a 0.03% chance to drop. And we want them because they sell for 1,000 G each. So this is like our very clearly best way to make money. The problem is that they're rare. And so I wrote up a simulator that can basically walk through and try to manipulate RNG such that I can always get one when I hoe down. So I'm paused here to then kind of manipulate RNG. So there's a couple different things that we do. The first thing is the social tab. So we're going to go in, we're going to click on Robin. When I click on this menu pops up. What the game does is it tries to look at every one of the 702 items that you could have in your inventory and gift to an NPC. and determine if Robin likes that based on the items that you've given. And it could do this lots of different ways, but the way that CA chose to make this work is it actually spawns an instance of that object. And by spawning an instance, it actually triggers an RNG call. And this is huge because now I can advance RNG by 702 ticks, which allows me to move the RNG counter, or that specific event, really far into the future. Very, very quickly, which is one of the hard things when you're trying to find rare events, is how do you identify and sort of accelerate your progression through the RNG stream. So here we're basically just doing this to move forward 702 in a single frame. And then we're going to do some manipulation. Each time I mouse over these, I don't remember, I get this backwards every time. This, I think, is 2 RNG calls per time that you overlay on top of one of these 2 items. I think objects like fences and gates is 1. And then these big objects are 2. I might have that backwards. It might be 1 for these and 2 for these. At this point now, all of this is purely automated. I don't think about this anymore. I just say, hey, find me a strange doll, and the code just runs. So it's going to oscillate between these 2 things. Again, there's other RNG ticking in the background. So this thing here, which is hard to see with the mouse, but the quest thing is pulsing. This causes RNG calls. One for our fences because mirroring the image or not. Yeah, it's because it's basically choosing whether or not it flips the object here. You're right, exactly. So I think it's 1 for the objects and 2 for the big craftables, but again, it's not super relevant which way it is necessarily. Just that it happens to be different between these 2. So I have a way of advancing 1 a frame, 2 a frame, or 702 a frame. So I wish I had something in the middle, but that's kind of the limit of what I have is, really large steps or 2 different small steps. And so again, we're going to just oscillate here. Then you wait a number of frames here out of this. And again, all of this is automated to find what the correct swing frame should be. And then at some point, it's going to auto pick the thing and I'll get a strange doll. And so basically, I need to do this about 60-something times over the course of this Mines Day because I want to make about 65,000 G for all of the money that I need in this run. And this is the only part of this that I find kind of toxic because, like, it is kind of unwatchable, like, at full speed. And so if you're photosensitive, just know I'm about to do this for like 20 more times here in quick succession. So just as a heads up, if you want to look away now, now is probably like a reasonable time for it. It's going to happen a couple more times over the course of the run. But we're going to just kind of go through here and then get to the next one. So we got to do this a bunch of times to come through. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I wish there was something in the like 15 to 20 again, so that you just had a little bit finer control. So we only can make large jumps or these very, very itty-bitty kind of jumps. And this is, again, one of those things where, like, you could do this every time. Like, there's lots of places that this could happen. Oh, there's lots of overswings. So I haven't talked about overswings at all. I'll do it, actually, on floor 13. Because 13 I overswing a ton on. And it's, again, huge shout out to Mermaid and Piano for figuring a lot of this stuff out. So here I'm going to swing at this tile. Here I am standing in this tile. Yeah, Mermaid absolutely is like just the monster of overswings. Like, it's figured a lot of this stuff out, made this a lot easier to do. I'm already pretty far, but like in principle, according to game logic, you would say I am in this tile here because it's where the center of my hitbox is. So I should only be able to swing at this one, but because of some bad math, you can mouse to basically somewhere on this tile here, and you will swing into this tile. And there are some places where it's just absolutely egregious how far you can swing. So I'm able to swing out at that extra tile. Hey, Piano. Yeah, again, Piano figuring out most of this stuff. There's some stuff I need you guys to explain to me about diagonal overswings too. The game uses the edges of your hitbox. Oh, really? Interesting. Yeah. Actually, Sam, I think you had a run the other day that I was watching where like you like actively tried to break a rock with your pickaxe and you swung at the wrong tile because of an overswing. I laughed a little bit because I was like, you don't try for that and it just happens and you're like, this is annoying as hell. So, I'm gonna again swing through most of this here. A lot of this routing is to avoid this particular Dougie, who has, I think, basically can kind of hit you if you're ending one of these tiles here. So I'm trying to avoid him because he can break my RNG manip. My RNG manip for the mine towing stuff is super brittle. So if an NPC that I have not traced before happens to call RNG, it'll break. So I have to go find that out. Certain types of enemies can just break my RNG checks because I wasn't willing to write a complete game simulator. I wanted to try and limit as much as possible. But here you can see I mouse to here, so I'm going to be able to break or to hoe this tile. What's the next pause frame? I want to get to 6:35. So we're going to, again, a lot of this is just going to be more flashing for the next little bit. So just as a heads up, we're probably about 15, 20 seconds. Just flashing again. Some of these are real fast too, which I like. That again, trying to get as much of these done as possible. Again, this path is entirely dependent on not triggering this Dougie. And I'm coming down to this crab. For diagonal overswings, you click on the edge pixels, and to get over a tile, it needs to be blocked by debris, unbreakable by the tool. I have read all of those words. I understand the wording, like the meaning of all of the words, and I'm gonna have to go play with it because I'm not sure I totally understand. So the Dougie spotting me is going to trigger him to act, which is just extra RNG calls that I don't know. So any of this Dougie's like AI is the problem basically. Okay, so the pickaxe do function. I'll go look at that sometime later then. You can diag overswing over a twig. Yeah, this is I'm gonna need to go play with this more aggressively. I got horizontal and vertical overswings. Like those are easy to me. The diagonal ones I think are cool, and I need to figure out how to make it work. I'm actually basically here. I'm slowly vectoring to this crab. This crab actually has a crab on him, which I desperately want. So the rest of this is me just sort of continuing to get dolls, and then I'm gonna go kill this crab. Killing crabs sucks. I hate them. And then you wait for this stupid thing to bounce for forever, and you're like, please come to me. And again, we're just kind of moving on here. Did I set the frame? Yeah, I did set the frame. Okay. Not a ton else. We're just kind of continuing to go down. Crab has crab based on his drop table. So when he spawns, when a monster spawns, like gets loaded into a floor, yeah, exactly, because I loaded floor on the right frame. When you built, like when the floor populates, it puts a monster on a particular tile, and then depending on global RNG on that frame, it chooses what drops that they have. So you can load a floor anytime within that second window to get all of the rocks, chests, and monsters to be on the right tiles, but based on the frame that you pick inside of that 1 second gap, so 60 different frames, you can get different monster drop spawns. So you can kind of manipulate two different things at the same time. You can manipulate what monsters will be where and also what their inventories might look like. I kind of have it automated for enemy drops. It's a little bit complicated because you need to know what enemy you want. So what I ended up doing was specifically just looking at Rabbit's Foot's a little different, and we'll kind of get to that one. Let me go look at the code here, and I can just show what it's doing. Or do I not have it on this computer? I do have it on this computer. Visual Studio Code. So I have code for like checking to see if a monster was going to spawn a ladder if I were to swing on a particular frame. So here's one, for example, where I'm testing to see if I have enough of the different monsters that exist. So I have enough shadows to make it worth me stopping. And then inside of the second, I'm basically checking to see if I have, you know, copper or they have an iron bar, for example. That crab, I just got lucky, happened to have a crab on that frame. I wasn't manipulating at that time. I've gotten more and more aggressive about frame RNG manipulation as time has gone on. Things like clay totems, which we'll talk about later. Iridium bar, which is one that I desperately needed because I needed a specific monster. And this is where Mermaid, when I said I have this, it's not automated. I went and I found that a specific brute spawned at this RNG call. And I basically went and said, how many RNG calls do I need to have happen such that it has this in its inventory? So this is disgusting. We want a better way of doing this, but I just needed it to work. So that's a future us problem. Same with the rabbit manip. Rabbit manip, yeah, you should hate it. It is bad. But it works, and I don't care. Rabbit manip is, again, more manual. It's basically me like slowly tweaking and figuring out what are the right RNG places for this. And we'll dive into this a little bit later also there. Yeah, I mean, most of this is jank, and the purpose is just... This is where I kind of come down to on tasking some of this stuff. I could build the best tool in the world, but a part of me is like, well, I haven't actually done the run, which is like kind of the fun part. So like at some point you just kind of get bogged down just writing code about doing runs. And so trying to kind of marry the two, or at least find a good healthy balance between the two. So I'm at least playing the game occasionally, or at least having the game play itself occasionally, versus like all I'm doing is just like staring at code that I can't fully test. This is the first monster ladder that I'm triggering. So monsters have, I think, a 15% chance to drop a ladder, but in tasks, they have a 100% chance to drop a ladder, assuming I kill them on the right frame. So it's just about, or killing them with the right RNG state. So it's about finding that correct RNG state. And this actually we have tools for, so we can know, you know, will it spawn a ladder or not. And then in the event that that tool doesn't work, we can brute force it and do it that way anyways. So again, not a fantastic, 19, but we get there. We get our wood club, which is nice. We're gonna re-roll 21 a bunch. 21 just happened to be a bad floor. This is one that I'm like super aggressive about. We need hardwood for the construction bundle. I'm not gonna get an axe upgrade, and there's really just no other way to get hardwood. And this is the first time I've tried to manipulate hardwood in the mines. And so I think I'm being a little bit... Yes, and for the oak resin, which is like super memey, but there's just no other way to get oak resin. Yeah. The struggle with this is that like later in the mines, crates can drop more hardwood. So like later on in like floor 64 or whatever it is, I get like 6 hardwood from 2 crates. Here, I went really hard at getting 1 hardwood. And like, I think this is just an experience doing this type of manipulation still, where I wasn't sure how hard it was going to be to get enough hardwood for the run. Now, if I were to go back in time, I probably would be a little bit less aggressive about these ones, and I'd be more aggressive about getting them later. But this is part of just like, I've never done this before, and you just got to try something. So... we also click super early and just pray that the debris hits us before we fully fade away, which like we are like just the frame, like frames early, like literally like frames early or frame away from not getting that. I won't unpause again. Again, on this floor here, I am super aggressive about getting these hardwood. I get 2 at least over here, but this is a large floor to run for just 2 hardwood. So again, I don't know if it makes sense. I thankfully can, manip that slime to have given me a ladder, so I don't have to run back for anything. But it's still like pretty aggressive, and I probably could get away with being less aggressive about getting hardwood there. I also could have gotten hardwood much later in the run. Like, I don't need it today. I end up getting all of it today. Another, floor manip or monster manip. Again, you get a good string of ladders, and you can just go down super deep, super fast. Continuing on. Also, I love this. This is the thing that always boggles my brain here, is how disjointed this hitbox is from the actual thing. So you look at this is where this bug is. Like, this rectangle here is where that bug is. And the sprite for the bug is just so far away from it that it's never super intuitive to me. Like, where you're, yeah, it's also off center. Well, I think it's because I think bugs in particular move back at left and right across their hitbox as they do whatever. But that might not be true. Yeah, so he's slowly cycling back and forth. They're just super disjointed, and so again, it is not obvious always when you look at one that they're actually going to anything. Actually, I want this pause frame because this is the pause frame I care most about. All right, continuing onwards, we take damage from him. I don't know why I don't kill him. I could have just club smashed him and it would have been fine. Certain questions here that I'm gonna argue are probably just I'm waiting for time to pass, and so it doesn't matter. In general, I am probably manipulating 2 floors at a time. So I am looking at the current floor that I'm on. I am running the next one to see what it's like when I get to the end of it, and then pausing a little bit because floors roll every second, and the screen transitions 75 frames. You're constantly affecting downstream RNG by the decisions that you make. And in principle, you could, track all of it. Practically, I can only do 1 or 2 floors at a time. So some of these are just it gets me lined up for what I think is a good set of floors or a good floor or two. And then if things happen to work out, I usually just tend to keep it. There's definitely tons of optimization you could do. But at some level, it becomes just impractical to trace. And we're on 40 by 1 o'clock. We've already done a ton of stuff today. Another floor where I probably could have killed stuff. I don't really know why I don't. But I get again into a pretty good stream of floors here, such that it probably didn't matter, right? Where you just have just crushed 0 floors. There I got my frozen geode, which is important because I'm going to need it at some point. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to reset a bunch, which is definitely a good reason, but I have 3,000 something re-records on this. So at some point I just stopped caring about that, and I just accept that I'm gonna have to reset a bunch. And to be honest, resetting here is way better than resetting later in the run, because this might only take me 20 seconds to revert back to, whereas after once at some point I'm replaying at about 27 to 30x speed, because I don't have the ability to save state things, right? So the only way to get back to this exact state is to hard reboot the game and rerun the entire input stream over again. And we can watch that towards the end. Yeah, I mean, if you want to implement save states, I've tried and failed miserably. So this is where we live right now. Here is another place where we do this type of menu manipulation. Again, one of the cool things is in the ice floors, you can get gold bars from tilling the ground. So again, I don't have to buy gold. I don't have to go mine gold. I just have a gold bar. Pretty easy. Don't need a furnace for it. It's pretty nice. This floor is mediocre, but it's fine. Here we get our frozen tier. Again, I could have killed that dust sprite. Don't really know why I don't. This one feels criminal. I missed a different one earlier too. I don't know why I don't get these gem nodes. It must just be inventory space. I think if I were to look at my inventory, do I have a better function for printing inventory? Let's inventory. Right. I mean, I guess I have one free slot. But you don't really need this cherry bomb. So I could do this here. Generally, I'm probably not going to have the inventory for it because there's a bunch of other things I need to go pick up too. Yeah, no, Stardew Valley object is one of my favorite items of all time. Yeah, it's there's lots of them. They're all pretty cool overall. But you could get basically any gem out of those that you want, and so it doesn't really matter. Here, that bat's unfortunately really annoying, and he runs towards us, so there's nothing I can do. We have some extra collies, so we can have them for energy. We just take damage wherever. We just don't care. There's no reason to avoid it. I'm not going to kill that ghost easily enough. I thankfully don't get slimed by any or slowed by any of these slimes. That bat would have been really hard to kill on a valid tile, so I just don't. And then this floor stinks, but I tried for a while, and there just were not better floors to get, so this is the one we pick. Because at some point, it's just slower than waiting. Yeah, unless you're getting slowed, it doesn't matter, honestly. So you just take damage wherever. There's one place in the run where we kill a monster because he actually is going to kill us if we don't. This slime here, I'm just shocked that he didn't do anything. This is a floor that I think I spent a while trying to figure out what the best way to do this one is. Thankfully, these dust sprites run away from me, which is a reasonable idea because he's about to get smashed. And then we get our dagger, and we get 6 hardwood. The dagger is going to come very important later. We had a full second for better rocks. That wasn't actually all that bad to run. Yes, and that's the thing. It's like you're constantly trying to balance how long does it take to get a better floor versus how long does it take to run the floor. So like if you have to wait 10 seconds, but the floor only took 6, like you might as well just run the 6-second floor. If you can get a one that's 3 seconds and it'll take you 1 second to wait, right? And that's where a lot of the like brute forcing / just trial and error comes into this. Is figuring out like what is the good sequence of these things that you can take. This is maybe my favorite floor in the entirety of the run. I didn't plan for this again, but I happened to find this particular second on entering this ladder that has a lead rod in this crate. And to me, the sequence of events that happens here, so this is me basically just like thinning the edge so that this stupid slime doesn't hit me and slow me. And then I can break this crate and hit him at the same time. This is sort of the like timing of each individual sequence of the swing, by the way, just so that's apparent for what that is. I cancel out. I get this lead rod to spawn. It chooses, no, I happen to find this, and I was like, this is perfect. The RNG is such that it pushes the lead rod to the left versus up or any other direction that it could be. I can delete this in the time. And then it comes over to me here so that I can then pick up and then immediately slam down. I'm going to turn off. Basically pick up and then slam to kill this thing. This is like easily the sequence that I like saw, and I was like, I love this. This is like one of my favorite things in the run by far. Because it's like just perfect. It's just like totally perfect. And we take this floor down. The next pause frame I want to go to is 6:35. I could have gone after those guys, but I don't think it super matters. I'm waiting on cooldown anyways. This floor sucks. So this is all of the slimes that I have to do. And I have tried re-rolling this floor a bunch of different times, and like every single time you'll get one singleton slime that spawns down here, and then one up here, and then one down here. So this is like the earliest one I could get that only required me to go down 2 of the lobes, basically. And this is also the one where like I get really sad because the thing that I use on this floor is not considered, or it's considered a glitch at this point, which I'm like sad about. I understand why, but I still use it in the task because I had already done this floor by the time the ruling came out. So technically not glitchless, though I'll be honest, the stuff that we do in the community center around breaking the like animations there feels way more like a glitch to me than this does right now. But that's kind of my view on a lot of this stuff. So we're gonna come through. Yeah, no, I 100% agree, piano, but that's just where we are right now. So right there, I did the special, and then I canceled out of it to get me into OP dagger state. And now when I swing the dagger, enemies do not get iframes. So I can frame by frame, and I'm going to turn off the hitboxes. Yeah, I'm going to turn off the hitboxes, just so it's a little bit more visible, for now at least. Every single frame I'm able to kill him. Now, or I hit him for damage. Now I break him on a specific frame so that he does not, or global RNG state, I guess, so that he does not cause, like he doesn't spawn new slimes when he breaks as the big slime. So that's sort of the thought process there. The only annoying part of this floor, and one of the things that I guess is maybe a little bit fun about tasks, is that like I don't have my club and my dagger on the same hotbar, so I constantly have to be switching between these things over the course of the run. It's pretty strong. Like it's pretty strong. I definitely understand the ruling that like I am in a state where like the game should not be able to get to, and the game should be applying iframes to these things, but isn't because I have a value that's glitched in, or like is not reset back to normal. I get it. I don't like it. I would totally be comfortable if this got patched such that you just had to cancel out of this animation. Like if the like version of it was you have to cancel the special, and then during that cooldown you had this OP thing. It's basically the same, but I think that's my hope, is that portion of it gets patched so we can at least have some middle ground of what the state of this looks like. Because I think that really it's just the fact that like this is a permanent state is basically the problem with this from a glitch perspective. So yeah, again, we just destroy monsters here. Here we're gonna push him back continuously. Could you still do it with alternating frames and canceling out so it can propel you forward? Yeah, you can. If you don't swing at them every so often, they at some point actually start to take knockback. So it's not as simple as just like not hitting them every frame. There's some point at which they take knockback. Correct. Yeah, you have to actually let the special fully end to break the sequence. I'm definitely on the boat of like I wish this was allowed. That's where I'm at. I understand the ruling. So we're again gonna just kind of push this guy so he's in a good spot for this club smash. He'll keep hitboxes off for now. We come into the center here. We get basically all of them broken. Just do a ton of damage. Now we come through to this guy. We again poke him to death. Poke him to death. Poke him to death. Now we're back up. Alright, we've gone for an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm almost at 40,000 frames. So this is going to take a long time. I don't think I had a good idea of how long this was going to be. So anyways, here we're again poking them to be in like good position for a collective smash. I could not line this guy up to die from this, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to have to walk by him anyways. So I'll just poke him on my way. He gets a 1-frame poke when he dies. And then I come over here, again, poke him to death. And then come through. Let me get myself set up for the next pause frame. 4, 3, 8, 8, 8. And again, I want him to break over a place where I can get a ladder out of him. Get our next ladder. We eat the cauliflower there so that we can trigger the ladder while I'm waiting for the finish of the cauliflower pickup or the cauliflower eat animation. So like once you eat, there's some number of frames before it actually gives you energy and you get access to your character again, despite the fact that it looks like you should be actionable. So I basically am overlapping the latter animation with the finish of the cauliflower like eating animation. So like here, I have not actually triggered, like I'm already going down the floor. I have not triggered yet the energy or like the rest of it. Now I have, right? So there's a couple frames of animation like overlap there basically. We're now on 70. And I think we pretty much just rock all the way to 80 here at this point. There I wanted those 2 hardwood. Also, the nice part about daggers is that you get a 1 frame in any cardinal direction, which like scythes just can't do downwards, which is like the best thing in the world. There I get a really nice smash that gets everything. Here is the last set. Sorry, I meant to pause here earlier, or I thought I had a pause for this, but I guess I don't. This is the point where I started actually doing math to be like, how much money do I need again? And do I have enough dolls for this? And the answer was, I do not. I need about, I don't know, maybe like 7 or 8 more dolls, 6 or 7 more dolls or something for the rest of the run. So this is me realizing that this is a good time to just do the rest of the doll minute that I have to do. And we're now done with doing dolls for the rest of the run. We demolish him. Now we're on floor 80. We gotta drop these because we do not have inventory space. The worst part about crabs is they have an absurdly large, like their debris radius or magnetism radius is just gigantic. So you have to like when you drop one, you have to like run away actually quickly from it and at an angle that does not allow it to come directly to you. I probably reset dropping that crab like 8 to 10 times. I don't know why. It's definitely larger than a normal item, I swear. Probably because they bounce a lot. He wanted to make it easier, like, because it's fun when the crab bounces around, not annoying at all. And then, you know, figured like, okay, well, it should also have a bigger radius because it could bounce around and be a little bit of a nuisance. And if someone only has, you know, 2 tiles or something of radius, we still wanted them to pick it up. So let's add an extra tile or whatever it is. So what's the next thing I'm gonna, I think the next thing, no, actually that's the right frame. So this is where I decide that furnaces are for chumps. And we're just gonna get all of the bars that we need. Yeah, I think so. We're just gonna get all the bars that we need on Shadow Brutes and Shadow Shamans. So here, somewhere in the midst of all of the damage that we're doing, there's this nice little copper bar here. And we are just not going to worry at all about getting a furnace this run. I'm actually a little mad, and I wish, in hindsight, I could go back. I actually don't know what the specific trigger logic is, but if you could avoid triggering Clint at all, I think that'd be really fun. Where you get all the bars that you need, but you never actually get a furnace recipe. I think that'd be kind of fun or interesting. So my next pause frame is 46416. Is it just pick up a copper? Is it like, would picking up an iron cause it? Because if so, then I screwed up on like literally 1 floor. But is it like any ore, or is it specifically copper? We can look it up later. I know the copper one definitely does it. I guess I don't know if iron does too. Here, I want this purple mushroom pretty badly. What's really annoying is this guy I need to kill. But apparently this tile here... Yeah, I don't think anyone's... like, only normal geodes trigger geode scene. Oh. I don't think I realized that. It's possible it's just copper. In which case, then, I picked up 1 copper this entire run accidentally. And I'm annoyed. So I could have avoided that cutscene. I don't know. This tile doesn't feel like it should be unspawnable, but this guy dies on this tile, and I tried manipulating him for an unreasonable amount of time, and he would not spawn it. So I don't know what to do. But he needs to die because he has an iron bar. So He just melted. I'm going to break this rock to get this gold. I don't need the gold ore. I just need to get down as fast as possible. I also have a bunch of energy at this point. Show borders. Oh, you want hitboxes? I can show hitboxes. Oh, players. Well, it's too late. I'm not going back now. I think it's technically a fronted tile. I think the problem is that like it is technically like overlapped by a thing, and so it can't spawn in the same way like this tile can't have a ladder in it, right? Like you can't have a ladder here because there's an overhang in front of it, and so it just doesn't allow it to happen. I think it's actually just a mislabeled tile, but I don't know that to be true. I just know I couldn't get a ladder to spawn, and I just gave up after a while. But yeah, again, we get another copper bar. And we already have a copper and an iron bar, so we actually have all of the things that we need for the boiler room. The only thing we don't have at this point is just the fire quartz. But we're collecting an extra copper and iron bar so that we can make a basic sprinkler. We got level 2 farming from the cauliflowers. And this is just so that I don't have to do any kind of weather manipulation, because I already have a ton of other manipulation that I'm going to have to do for overnights. And so like this just saves me a ton of hassle and a ton of effort. Especially because like every time you need to do a step, you're inducing some amount of time. So however you can reduce the number of step manipulation you have to do, it's just going to be speed up overall. And I can basically get these things in the scheme of get these like in the flow of doing the run anyways. The only thing I think about on this is, could I have gotten an earlier fire quartz and then just passed out today on 85 with 2 iron bar? I would have needed a second iron bar already, but passed out a little bit earlier and made the extra 5 floors happen later in the run when I have a little bit more time. Because right now I'm racing to get to 90 because I have a good fire quartz later. But I think you could probably overlap time a little bit better and maybe shave off a little bit here. Again, we got to kill this guy for our iron bar. Now we have all the bars that we need for that. We get our fire quartz here. Again, pretty well timed. And then we got to roll this floor. We get this red mushroom. Howdy. And then we are going to come down and knock this guy out here. Now, this is something that Piano told me, you posted the other day. I don't even know that eating this thing is faster than me just swinging to exhaust at this point. Like, how much energy do I even have? 25. So 25 times 10 frames plus, maybe, what is it, like 8 extra tills times like 15 frames? It's like 7 seconds, 6 seconds. It's probably faster. I think with canceling, it's definitely faster. So that's the struggle that we got for that one. Yeah, so I think if you can cancel all of this portion and still take the energy loss, which, because it happens instantly, then that's definitely faster. Right, and then we're out. So right now we have gotten all the money that we need in dolls. We have all of the items that we could want for the boiler room. We have enough to make a sprinkler, and pretty much everything else. Yeah, there probably is. I oftentimes just turn off all the logic toggles so that one of the things that we have in the task right now is a lot of things that just like automate frame advances for us, because some things are just toxic to do over and over again. Like when I swing, it'll move me directly to the frame that I should cancel on. And then I can just move from there. So I don't have to worry about, whatever, instead of having to like advance 9 frames every time. So what's the next pause frame I want to get to? I'll just keep going through today. So today we made the sprinkler here. We're gonna trigger Clint, which apparently I didn't need to do. If I could have avoided picking up one piece of copper. We gotta deal with this cat cutscene. It's just nothing you can do about it. Gotta do. Sorry, cat. We will place down our green bean. I guess we'll place them in sort of whatever order made sense, I guess, at the time. I did know the cat was faster than the dog. I remember looking that up like multiple years ago. I am just barely trying to thin. Let me get my hitbox back on. I'm basically just trying to thin my hitbox to being into this tile so I can place the green bean down here. Bam. And now I'm back up to here. Why I don't get the wizard letter today, you can't explain. There's no explanation for it. No reason for it at all. I don't get the wizard letter today. I get it later. Which has caused me to have to reset a number of days because I forgot to pick up the wizard letter. Like everyone does. I have definitely forgotten multiple times to get this stupid piece of mail. And the fact that I don't get it today is just like, I'm an idiot. So, but, you know, that's just how normal speedrunning goes. Oh, yeah, no, it's classic. Ostensibly, I should not have that problem because I'm literally playing in one frame at a time. Yeah, no, I wanted the realistic community center experience, which was like, I'm an idiot, I hate everything. That's pretty much what it comes down to more than anything else. So, what's my next pause frame? Next pause frame is 54. So every step, yeah, so we sell here. Also on that menu, on a sell menu like that, you want to hold the mouse down because the actual transition of that menu or that like sell menu goes 3 times faster if left mouse click is down. So the second it pops, you want to be holding left mouse down, and then once the OK button comes up, you want to click it instantly. So just as the sort of like how to advance through that menu faster, that's just what you want to do. All right. Pretty much everything from now on. Oh yeah, so I now need to trigger the bat cave because we are gonna get so many items from this bat cave that are all just miserable. So we gotta talk to Demetrius or Science Man today. That's the last time we're gonna have to talk to him. We don't have to worry about him not sending us mail. Even if we could manipulate, we don't have to worry about it. So now pretty much everything I'm doing is step manipulation to cause specific items to spawn in the bat cave. What's the next frame that I'm gonna pause at? 55095. Yeah, the rest of this is basically just me doing whatever. Do folks care if I leave the grid on? Do you prefer the grid on for this? Or like hitboxes and other stuff? I can turn all of this stuff off. I don't... Might as well just leave it on, I guess. Next thing we're basically doing is just getting to the end of spring. Yeah, I'm so used to watching this game with the grid and the hitboxes that sometimes it looks a little weird to me to not have it on, to be honest. Also, I figured because this is the... Do you have a command to remotely check the cave? I do. It's scuffed, so... Do I have RCC imported? That's fair. Scripts.rcc c.farm cave items. So right now I have it's oh, that's gonna be true. Yeah, once I get to the white screen pathing, it'll be better. So right now my cave has 1 apple, 1 orange, 1 cherry, 1 pomegranate, 1 peach, and 1 apricot, and 1 salmon berry. So, you know, we unlocked the bat cave on the 13th, and we already have 1 of every artisan item. Pretty good. I think when I did the math before, you're like pretty much guaranteed to get all of them if you were to like wait, you know, like 100 days or something. This is like we're already pretty much locked. The problem is we need more than one apple, and we also need 10 salmon berries. Preferably, though we don't get it, it would be really nice if those salmon berries weren't just every quality, right? We are not that lucky, though. What am I set up for pause frames? I am. Cool. So again, we're just casually manipulating, and we can go look. We just got a second apple that frame, or that sleep. Nothing that sleep. Got an extra salmon berry this one. I'm sorry, but effectively, I am just automating this manip. So there, I just got a second pomegranate and 2 more salmon berries. Here, we get to watch some of the things that I love, which is just task harvesting. Part of me wants to watch it in a real speed, but a part of me thinks that it's just like cool either way. The problem is it's going to happen so fast that you don't really get to take advantage of it or see it. So we'll do it frame by frame. But it is just so incredibly fast. So our goal is to basically get our center of our hitbox into this tile. And then it's right click. So now we're here. So right click and move on the same frame. Press X and move on the same frame. Right click and then move on the same frame. And it doesn't matter. We press X. Swing, cancel out. We walk over here to just barely grab this stupid green bean, which is slightly far away. Scythe cancel out, and then we're done. I think harvesting on task is one of the coolest things. I love it. What am I supposed to pause to? We're gonna now go to 58170. And again, we're still manipulating the cave. We now have 5 salmon berries. Yeah, the sound it makes is all just ridiculous. We have 6 salmon berries. Again, we need to get to 10. Did not get anything from that last night. We're going to run to summer 5. Because we want to try and overlap as many things on the days that we go out as possible. This always confuses me. I always forget about this stupid cutscene. Literally every time. I don't know why. It's just like not a thing that I ever think about. We did not get another salmon berry yet. Okay. We have 8 salmon berries. So if you go look at our cart, it's just real good. Again, we have our 2 pomegranates, so we have both artisan and the other thing that we need it for. We have 2 of our 3 apples. Realistically, we have 2 of the 4 apples we would like to get, but I made a mistake when I was routing this, and then the fallback ended up being faster anyways and trying to minute for it, so it didn't matter. Today's a pretty light day. What we're going to basically be doing is prepping the farm, going to the wizard, and then completing the vault and the boiler room. We need to talk to Pierre to get our summer crops set up. And we'll just start going. We do this. The planting here is for a very specific purpose. These tiles, and actually, I'll toggle it on. Okay. So these are all the tiles that for my seed on summer 27, planting wheat will give me hay. And it's surprisingly a lot of them. Like, and all of these are normal quality. These are 2 that are silver quality. There might be some gold qualities. I can't really tell. But it's surprising that like a lot of wheat will just spawn hay on a specific day. I was surprised by how much of this pattern existed. So that's convenient because again, we don't want to talk to Marnie. That would just take a long time, and her schedule sucks for the rest of the days that we want to go out. So it's just easier to go that way. The nice part about Dagger is that we get to swing downwards like this, which no other tool allows us to do. So having a dagger is just super helpful. basically with a scythe or something else, you'd have to like swing to the side and then wait 3 frames or 4 frames and be like perfectly positioned to make it work. So, you know, this allows us to just get to that a lot easier. Then break these things down. We just are going off to talk to the wizard. I did check the mail this time because it's the actual run. I have redone this day multiple times, and again, I'm like at a 50-50. I remember. We don't need to pick up Spiceberry here because we have one in our cave already. And we got to clear a little bit of garbage out of our inventory here. So we clear all this garbage out, and we're gonna buy from her. Thankfully, she has a bream, which saves us like 2 minutes of time, not having to wait until 6 o'clock. We only have to wait until 4 o'clock for the eel. So that's super nice. That just happens to be a nice thing of this seed. It wasn't originally planned for, but again, when you start looking at the seed, and you're like, okay, I'm going to need to get a rare seed, you might as well buy the bream while you're already on the menu. We come out of this, and then we can pause again. I'm going to set up the next pause timer, just so that it auto pauses when I want it to. 6507. Yeah, so we're going to basically go talk to Wizard, and then we're going to do a bunch of bundle turn-ins, and then go to Pierre. We just got to slowly walk our way there. We pick up the sweet pea here because it's in our way anyways, and we do need one still, so this works out fine. The grape we're going to get later. When did the timer show up? Oh, that is a no, actually this timer started automatically when I did the thing that imported that allowed me to see the cave items. I have some stuff that's like set up to like auto trigger the timer, and that's just gonna be there now. And I should have put that on from the beginning so that we could have seen how long this thing has taken us. But yeah, no, this you're not crazy. This just spawned whenever I did that like import RCC thing. So like remix CC. That just like auto triggered that, and I wasn't thinking. But you get a timer now. I don't feel like killing it because I don't know if it's gonna break something else. So we're gonna do our turn in here. Again, we're just basically waiting until 9 o'clock. This also has some weird stuff. Yeah, Cork. We are at 64,000 frames of like 140. And we are at about an hour and 40 minutes. So this is going to be a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. So you're fine. We've got another 80,000 frames or something to go through. Though a lot of it I think is going to be less pausing probably. The mine stuff in particular and the early stuff is usually pretty slow. So we're going to do our bundle turn in here. We're going to step there very specifically so that the correct, like the forage items vacuum to us or magnetize to us first over the cauliflower that we don't have in our inventory right now. We're also going to turn in this sweet pea first so that we get this item. I wonder if dagger cancels can make diagonal movement faster since you can get full speed one way and some sideways movement from the dagger. I mean, there's lots of just dagger movement stuff that I'm not willing to do right now, piano. Because the like dagger walking stuff you found forever ago is like technically faster, right? Like it's like, what did I say? It's like 1 tile per 60 tiles of movement or something faster, but it is technically faster. But it's also a huge pain in the ass to work with, so I just don't do it. But it is one optimization that like is again like part of the suite of P&O is a task genius. Yeah, basically mermaid. Yeah, it's hard and annoying and not fun, but like it's like definitely faster. And at some point, at some point we'll reach the level where like I should be really focusing on dagger cancel movement for just like extreme speed. Uh, Again, we do our turn-ins here. We're lined up such that all of the forage are gonna vacuum to us. Walk up and dagger sideways can be faster than walking dag. I'd have to time that. I don't know. That when I pick these up, I'm getting exactly the forage items first. And then when I pick up this horseradish, I'll get the cauliflower after that. So I got these in the right order so that I didn't have to worry about inventory as I'm doing this. We get this turn in. This is something that's, yeah, I mean, it's not in there because it sucks. It's true of a lot of stuff. I'm actually pretty far along on a tool mermaid, so we should talk at some point about chair movement stuff. This blue bar comes on the screen. Now you see there's a little bit of a gap here. This frame, there is not a gap. You should click on this frame or after this frame, and it forces the blue bar to go away. You can also just wait, but the blue bar takes like a couple seconds to clear. But if you click on the frame once it's fully covered the screen, it'll instantly go away. Or it'll start the process of going away faster. So that's just a general, like, you might want to think about doing that to speed up your menus here. We get out. We cancel out of this thing so that we can continue to run along. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, you don't have to frame perfect, but you just want to make sure that you click on it when it shows up. The alternative is if you look at a lot of people who are doing bundles, that blue bar might sit on their screen for an extended period, and like you don't want that. The second you see it fully on your screen, you got to be mashing click to just get it to leave. And then it's going to exit you out of that menu on its own. You don't have to do anything for that. It's going to just exit you out. And leave you onto the, like, choose a bundle thing. It does feel like a year, yeah. Here we're coming up. Yeah, you just want to click after it's fully on the screen. Here we're going to do some basic turn-ins again. We got to do our spring crops. This might be one of the few bundles that I actually did in the order. I realized this after I was, like, looking at the video. I was like, you know what would have been really fun is if in hindsight I had actually like ordered all of the items, but I didn't do that, so sorry. That's just the world that we live in. This is like one of the only items that we're gonna get from this is I need this speed grow to grow that rare seed. Because I am not planning to plant it on a fall first. So we're gonna come over here. We're basically like perfectly lined up. Like this, I don't know how this is possible that this like perfectly lines up for like when you would be here. That this will just like pop up. But now we can turn in all of these just to get them out of my inventory. I think you could make a case that you're wasting like a frame by like opening a menu that you don't have to technically open because I'm not finishing it, but like it just gets it out of my inventory and I don't have to worry about picking it up later, so it's fine. We again cancel out so that we have control to go to the boiler room. We get to the boiler room a little bit early. There's not a lot we can do here. We just kind of have to wait for it to start. Any second now. Yep, we do our adventure. Again, the essences are the super simple ones. Yeah, no, it's brutal. I should just reset the entire thing, Zach. I agree. Well, and that's like the hardest part of, I think, like all the categories, but CC in particular is just like inventory is always a mess. And so like, you know, even in just like normal like people speedrunning CC, it's like I have so many items constantly like clogging my inventory. And you guys don't buy a second backpack upgrade normally, I don't think. So like it's, you know, you're constantly just struggling for inventory space. And I want to not rely on a chest as much as possible because opening a chest is slow, right? Because you have to wait for the animation of the chest to open. Yeah, because there's never a good time for you to spend 10,000 G. Oh, I do have a second bundle that I actually turned it in the correct order. Yep. Yeah, and Human Rail gets more chests, which makes sense because again, you're just like, we'll do all the turn-ins at some other time. This is actually a good visual indicator, by the way, for when this menu is going to go away. Is when you see these leaves come up, those need to fade away, basically. Oh, I'm wrong. Is that the different menu? Never mind. Disregard whatever I was just about to say. This one was easy, too. Why did I do this in the wrong order? It's like, was super simple. All right, we'll get out of here. We will not pick up a furnace because we don't need it. I don't pick up the magnet ring there, and I go back and forth on whether or not I want that magnet ring. There's lots of junk I don't want to pick up, but every time I'm playing with... Forage Route can afford deluxe backpack. I could see Forage Route getting it, because you're already in the, like, I have so much just nonsense. And again, you want it to have... You want it especially later in normal CC, because that's when you're generally backloading most of your turn-ins. So having an extra 12 slots is just huge from a just getting that process faster, or not having to do as many turnarounds. Winter tuna. I mean, I catch a winter tuna, so I'm sorry in advance for that. But and again, we have to sit here for forever for this stupid vault to open. We're about to start triggering a really weird cutscene bug where the screen is transitioning for the boiler room completion. There is no timer on these. You just click a button and it immediately gets you out. Which feels weird also. We've just finished the vault while the boiler room is finishing. And this is where animation canceling these cutscenes is broken. And like, so these are all the Junimos that are spawning, by the way, to be like celebrate the fact that I've just completed a room. Yeah, this is 100% glitchless, by the way, and like the most like this is just stupid. Like that's literally my question too, Piano, to be honest. Like this is just broken, and we have 100% broken the cutscene because now it's just fading to black for no reason. So if I were to do view, what'll happen is I would just see myself in the screen, right? And you can see that I'm actually jumping right now. I have a bunch of these guys here, all just kind of like standing around, super excited. But I obviously can't see that. My screen is just jank. I have somehow got into a state where I'm not in the like normal like white fade. I have like mixed black and white fades at the same time. It'll eventually get back to this white fade. Here is a thing that's really hard to see, but I just dropped a purple mushroom on the ground because I couldn't get this stupid inventory to open as I ran by, and I was like, later I will get this at some other time. So I wanted to put this in here, but I couldn't get it to happen. So this is just like, I was just like, screw it, we're just dropping this on the ground and we'll come pick it up later. I just want it again out of my inventory. We'll deal with it. And so this is again a moment where like the like cutscene trigger breaks, and it's like, I don't know what's supposed to happen. I guess we'll just try and fade the screen again? Question mark? Yeah, the auto splitter detection of CC is confusing because like I don't need to go into that kind of words. Both things happen at the same time, and there's just nothing to do about it. So, like, technically the CC is finished at that moment, and it recognizes that, and there's just nothing to happen. So again, we're in here, and we get out before the screen is fully white on this, and we just get out, and, like, this is our world now. And I think if I don't do anything, it would stay like this forever. So that would suck. We are obviously, like, on the map still. So, you know, we are over here. Whoops, I need to click that. You know, we're, you know, up here. Our goal is to make it down to here. I am sure people have done this. And this is where I was curious, Sam, if people are actually not soft locking, they just have found themselves like on the overworld map, and they're like, I am lost now, right? Because if you don't know where you are, you might not know, like, oh shoot, I need to be running to here, basically, through that cutscene. So, you know, I'm just gonna just casually be moving. Oh shoot, I did the thing. Okay. Well, you guys are gonna find out that, what a reset looks like, or what a reset sounds like. So I'm apologizing for this. I clicked the wrong button. It needs to reset back to that state because I accidentally did a thing so I could manipulate it. So this is what the game looks like whenever I make a mistake. It plays back at about 30x speed, and it is miserable. It's really loud, and it looks ridiculous. But this is the process. I actually have an upload of this run fully reset on YouTube that I will release at some point. It's there. But we don't have save states, so this is how we go backwards. So this is the nonsense. Yeah, this is the inside of my brain. Okay, so let's not click that button again. What's the next pause frame I want to get to? Okay. Next pause frame I want to get to is this. So again, I'm just going to run here on the screen. Don't need to see because I'm a TAS. So I'm going to run to Pierre's. Now, Pierre happens to have a cutscene that causes this thing. Yeah, I mean, task resets are awful. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I'm so fast. This cutscene fixes the overlay bug that's happened. In fact, you get a white flash in the middle of that. It's just like the entirety of the animations thing all sorting itself out and being like, oh, goodness, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. We buy the backpack upgrade because we desperately need one. And then we buy all of our seeds. Again, we are buying, you know, the summer crops, our 10 wheat, which we're going to get our hay from, and then our sunflower and our, I don't remember what flower this is, to be honest. Summer spangle. I'm not, so Sam, to be clear, I don't know that it's the cutscene that fixes it or the loading zone. It didn't fix it when I left the loading zone of the CC, so my assumption was that it was the other animation, like cutscene or event that triggered, like fixed it, but I don't actually know. I just know that it fixed, like something fixed it, and I was like, thank goodness, because I don't want to have to, like, I want this to still go forward because it's nice to, because I basically hit Pierre's at like 9 o'clock still. I was a little bit late. Oh, can you? Okay, so never mind. It is just the loading zone. Well, that either way, it doesn't matter. The point is that the run is now visible again, so we all get to enjoy. So that's nice. Am I set up for this? I did set up for this. Again. We're gonna pick up this ancient doll later. I don't need it right now. So like he sits here. This is partially why I don't grab the small magnet ring from the oh goodness, I'm forgetting which bundle gives it to you. But I don't grab it because like there's lots of stuff where I kind of just want it to stay where it is for now. Because again, I'm just gonna be struggling with inventory throughout this run. Now this is a mechanic. Oh, I gotta go grab a grape first. This is a mechanic though I don't think I realized until I started doing this run. And that is that after Summer 2, artifact spots that have clay have a 10% chance to drop a totem. So I'm sitting here for a couple frames, gonna swing at this guy. Boom, we get a beach totem. And this opens up so much from a mobility standpoint in the run, because now we can just start to like warp around the map arbitrarily. And totem, for like point of comparison, is about three screen transitions of paused time. So if you're going to have to walk 3 screen transitions, so if you think like house to farm, farm to bus stop to town, that's 3, right? And if you wanted to go to the beach, that's 4. Well, using a beach totem is just faster. More in-game time will continue to pass, and you will lose less pause time during that. So it's just strictly better for that type of thing. So this is actually really, I enjoy this a lot. It actually makes some of the routing really complicated now because you have to think about like which totems do I want, and like when do I want to use them. I pick up this clay, which I don't want. I can't avoid it. And then we continue on. We do our planting. Again, those are the tiles that are going to give us our hay from the wheat. We break this rock because it does end up causing us some problems. No, I don't want it because there's lots of stuff that I don't want to pick up. Piano. I've gone back and forth. I'm like, I think it's a 50-50 play whether or not I think that magnet from the boiler would be better or not. Lots of times there's just stuff that I don't want to collect to clog my inventory, but deleting stuff from my inventory doesn't take very long. So it's like, is it really time save? Does it make some of the debris pickup just way easier? Probably. Like, I don't know. It goes back and forth. This was all mixed seed manip, which happened very, very quickly, where I got down the hot peppers, the whatever. This, I think, is tomato. I don't know what the hell this is. Actually, I think I have that backwards. So again, we're gonna go sleep. What's the next pause room I want to go to? By the way, yeah. At this point, I'm still... Yeah, Look, I play the game one frame at a time. I don't know what any of the things are. So, like, this is definitely the moment where, like, I have to look at the wiki, and I look at the predictor, and I look at all the tools that we have, because, like, some part of me just doesn't remember any of the stuff. But at this point here, again, I am back to manipulating the bat cave, because if we were to go back, we are still missing some items. We have 2 of the apples that we need, and we only have 8 of the salmon berries we need. We need 10 salmon berries and at least 3 apples. We wish we could get 4. Spoilers, we don't get 4. And I was devastated to find out. But we'll get to that later. Get to watch a nice, cute cutscene. And again, some pretty subtle manipping. I don't think there's a lot of steps. Yeah, Fruit Cave is entirely step manipped. In fact, part of why I'm getting the sprinkler is so that I don't have to... So... It happens after the farm debris is all going to run through, so I am not, like, predicting this. The way I do it is by, like, legitimately testing a step and seeing what happens. So I have some code that basically... And I'll swap over to this, because we love code here. That's the wrong thing. RCC. Cave. Basically, we'll go through and we'll, like... Yeah, it's not RTA viable step in it. God, no. We'll basically go through, check what the current cave items are, try taking a step, and then seeing if the new items in the cave satisfy some criteria that I have. So in this case, I was at the end of this thing, and I was just like, I just need an extra salmon berry. So, because I think I had 9 in there on one of the last days I was doing. So I basically just checked to see if the newly spawned item was a salmon berry, and if it's not, I gotta rewind and then try another set of steps, and then continue forward here in this process. So this is where we get to, like, again, I think I have like 3,300 something re-records. Most of this is just letting the game play itself, stepping iteratively and praying that we find the right RNG that we want. And which, like, also allows me to do things that are just, like, stupid compared to what I used to do, which was almost entirely I would do this manually. So, like, in the old CC run, almost all of the RNG manip in that thing is just pure manual. Most of the, like, heavy RNG manip in this, I am just letting the game play itself, and I go walk away for an hour, because there's no, like, friggin' way that I'm going to step there. Take, like, a minute to reset every time. Take a single step more and be like, is this going to work now? We can just let the game play itself and not have to worry about it. All right, so what's the next frame that I want to pause on? Oh, I'm already set up. Cool. Yeah, at some point we should do some tooling. I know all of us have talked about it, but it's like pretty hard to get to work reliably, and so it just is like, That's a future us problem, or hope that somebody else solves the problem. I think me and Mermaid are playing chicken on this and have been for like a year now, so or however long we've been doing this. Um, all right, and then we're gonna just casually sleep. Again, the really nice thing about having a sprinkler is we don't have to worry about any of this stuff. We can just let the sprinkler water stuff, and we can worry about cave manip instead. Today we get to do a basic swap. Handling all the running legal distribution issues. I think we're more concerned about that than we probably need to be. We're very, very careful about it though, because we want to make sure that we're not like redistributing. But if you go look at like Smappy has functions that are just ripped directly out of the code base, right? So it's like there's some borderline area there. I think if you just ask for permission, CA has also been pretty comfortable with a lot of this stuff. And at least for like task build stuff, again, you know, as long as he gives us the... Yeah, I have had some of this... Okay, that's another thing. Some of the step manip is not having these break my crops. That has occasional step manip is specifically because these things are effectively breaking it. But by and large, most of my step manip is not that. So here I'm again basically picking up that tomato. I then break this so I can put a sunflower in its place. I pick up the melon. Yeah, no, I agree. Then I go plant the summer spangle, and then I'm out again. So we just came out today just specifically so we could get our flowers down, and then we're going back to sleep. And then the next frame we want to go to is 77280. I'm glad I set up this entire automated thing to make this work, and I'm just going to manual the entire process. Though the manual way is actually working pretty well, so I'm happy with that. Again, a little bit of step manip. Like either farm cave or specifically so that it doesn't break my crops or the weeds don't break my crops. And then we're sleeping basically until summer 27 when we're going to harvest. So not a lot here, just basically sleeping and a little bit of step manip. Okay. So we got to do a bunch of stuff here. This day took me a bit to like figure out the best way to do. Correct. Well, so steps affect the new seed that your like overnight random is going to take, which then impacts. Yeah, it's game one random. So everything that happens is game one random. So it impacts the seed that's used in the new day, and then that affects how updates are going to happen on the farm, and then the bat cave, and then every other location that comes through. We pick up the flower and then use the cancel of the flower to hit the wheat. We have to break this one. We wait the extra couple frames to swing down at this so that this trigger all happens. We then swing up to knock those. This is one of the places where the debris would, or like the magnet ring would be a little bit nice, is like this stupid wheat is just far enough away that I'm like, please vacuum to me. Right. And so there's like little pauses there that have to happen. Later, Julia. It was great seeing you. Should catch up sometime, actually. It's been a long time. We get our blueberries dropped here. Could I pick it up later? I could pick it up later. I don't know. I need to think about how debris works overnight. Because it's not player drop debris. And so I don't actually know if it lasts overnight or not. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't. I know player drop debris. Crops don't disappear. Okay. Well, then, yeah, I could just wait it out, I guess. That's fair. For some reason, I thought this is also the stupid hitbox. This is the weirdest hitbox in the world for your scythe. I don't know why it works this way, but this is what it looks like. If they're on the ground, they just persist. Okay, well, fair enough. All right, well, again, this will be a mechanic that I don't actually know. I'm fine with that. Now, I don't pick up this sunflower, and I don't pick up this sunflower because it turns out... Yeah, that's fair. It's less aesthetic. It's nice to just have it in inventory because I can be like, look, boom, boom, I have my 10s of each of these already down. None of these tiles for this sunflower drop a seed today, which I didn't think was even a possibility when I planted this initially. And then I had to re-roll this a bunch of different places. I put it in all the different spots, and I was like, oh, literally none of these are going to give me a seed today. That sucks. So we're going to deal with that later. That's a future us problem. So we're going to just, we'll harvest that and replant it on a different day where it chooses to give us a seed. But we just finished basically all of our spring crops, and we have, a lot of the items that we were going to need for, like, the fodder bundle now. Why do I need the seed? Because I need 2 sunflowers. I need 1 sunflower for the dye bundle, and I need 1 for the garden bundle. So I could have bought 2 seeds. I didn't buy 2 seeds. And I'm already at the point now where it's there, so I might as well get the thing to give me the seed pop. But you're like, ostensibly you're right though. I don't need 1, but it has to happen. Oh, that's a bug in my code. It's not supposed to advance when I'm inside the cursor like this. So we'll unpause. We're gonna now sleep until fall 5th, which is a disaster of a day. This is a disaster of a day that's coming up here. Thankfully, we're on a 4 o'clock timer, so it does not matter that it's a disaster. But boy, I don't know how to route this day. And I definitely don't think I route it well. So we have to do basically the rest of the run today. Yeah, so this is the run effectively in one day. We are going to finish pretty much every bundle other than the fish we can only catch in winter/summer, which we didn't already catch. Yeah, the fishing, we'll get to it. We'll get to everything. So here we're going to just kind of casually go through. We collect this. We get our sunflower seeds to pop up, which we need. We're going to prep the farm so that we can do things. We planted our rare seed, and you can see the fertilizer under it. So this is speed growed, so it will grow by the end of the season. If we didn't have the speed grow, it wouldn't, and we would be sad and lose. But we don't have to worry about it. We're going to get, put up away a couple items in our inventory. No, I guess we picked up some items. I would have to go back and look at what we actually just picked up. I don't really remember. But we do get 3 mixed seeds, which we do need for our fall crops. So that's actually perfect. And then we're going to go to the bat cave. I think ancient fruit would be slower. Yeah. Because you'd have to go turn it into Gunther. You have to like fast forward out of the cutscene. You have to deal with his menus. You have to get there at a time that they're open, which would stink. So rare seed's definitely the best option. It's just because I'm planting it so late in the season, I just have to like prep, or I have to take that speed grow and just get there. Yeah. So finding a specific bug that has an ancient seed is like not that bad, again, because we can just do all the things. But like I have to run by the cart anyways to go to the wizard. I guess technically I don't have to run by it, but like it's frames faster. So yeah, to the cart question, I don't like requiring the cart as like the only source of an item. But for things like rare seed where I can only get it from the cart, I don't mind doing it. And if I'm already going to be in the cart menu, I don't mind buying things that are at the cart. So like this seed has a shad today actually at the cart. I don't buy it then. I catch the shad, which is like strictly like 7 seconds slower or something. Um, but like I just don't really like doing the cart if I can avoid it. But if I'm in the cart menu because I'm buying a rare seed and the only place to buy a rare seed is the cart, I don't mind buying the bream while I'm there. I don't think I'm super consistent with my logic for this. But at the very least, I don't like routing the entirety of the seed around the cart specifically. You even have the space for RNG in the seed to do cart. Well, I would just change this. I would change the requirements of the bundles to work around the cart, right? Like I would not force the bundle selection to be entirely like non-cartable. Does that make sense? Like I would, like if I needed to have a seed that had a truffle in it, I would have to make the cart have a truffle because I'm not gonna make a deluxe barn. Yeah, I think a cart. Yeah, and same. That's kind of where I'm thinking too. I think. Oh yeah, we'll advance a little bit farther forward so that Owlie gets her like point of prominence here. Um, he's just like majestically up here, just like watching over our farm. It's really really nice. Um, I think so. I do think a cart printer run would be interesting. Uh, but I don't think I would be like super excited to do the routing for it, and I don't think it would be that interesting to watch. If someone wants to route a thing, I don't mind running whatever. Um, so if you find a seed that you're like, yo, do this, like I'll run it. Um, glitches task remixed. I'd have to look at what glitches we can actually do at this point on 1.5. I don't actually know. This is where I've fallen out of like place on the glitches stuff. Like what stuff is possible in the 1.5 route, or if there is even a 1.5 route of glitches that you can do. Almost all the things I know are like 1.2 exclusives, which I had an old version of Task for. I could probably backport a lot of the logic we use now, but has never been sort of top of mind for some of that stuff. A lot of like the window shift canceling stuff I don't think would like work great. Dynamic seed is glitches. Oh. Then that would be interesting. Yeah, that could be fair. That could be kind of fun. Right, we're gonna get into this bat cave here. It is pretty much like borderline the perfect bat cave, right? We got a hidden pomegranate here. We got 3 apples. We have 10 salmon berries. All the other things we could possibly want. We will unpause so that you get some sweet like sound of pickups. And then we're gonna warp to the beach. Now, the reason that we're at the beach right now is we have to come down here at some point before 2 p.m. because of the tilapia. The tilapia disappears at 2 p.m. and is not catchable in wintertime. So I need to be down here at 4 o'clock for the eel, but I don't really want to come down here at like 1:30 and then just wait for the rest of the day. So I have the beach totem already. We're just going to come down here to get the tilapia now. And effectively, we're also going to get the sunfish as the primary, or as the first catch basically here. And right there, it might not have been super easy to tell. I missed the catch for just a couple frames so that I don't get the perfect like jingle that comes through. I do manip for short bite times. I have code that manips for short bite times. Is that code brute force code? Absolutely. Does it have to basically run a cast and then see what the thing is going to be and then roll back? Absolutely. It is disgusting. But it's, you know, you set it to search for a good bite time and then you go do something else for an hour. So all of the bite times, except for on Winter 5, I think I manip. So like here, pretty short bite time. Sometimes you're going to get a good bite time. Sometimes you just have to wait regardless. Some fish really don't want you to not perfect catch them. So that tilapia Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it works, and that's all that matters. We refresh our beach totem, so we can come back later with it. Um, Again, I love the totem mechanics. Like, I think it's one of the more interesting things that this run does that the old CC one didn't do. Oh yeah, no, the ability for us to do resets where Lua controls everything just makes it so much easier for us to like brute force stuff. Um, right, so we finish our summer forage there. Again, we are just clearing out inventory because we had a full inventory coming into this. Right, so we're gonna do all of our things. And again, I'm sorry to all the people. I don't know why I didn't make this in the order. There's literally no reason for it other than I wasn't thinking. Got all of our flowers turned in. And then we're gonna get to sadness. I came to this frame and I was devastated when I was doing the run. Because literally everywhere in my notes, uh, there might have just been a sign of you're an idiot, and I thought Artisan only took 5 items. So I only had 3 apples here today for the intent of not putting an apple into this, but having those for the fodder bundle. And so I got to this point and was like, shit, I need another artisan item. So I rolled back. I tried to manipulate another apple in the car, in the bat cave. I have rolled back all the way to spring 13. Yeah, this is why I suddenly get cheese. I go through most of the stages of grief. I'm mad at myself. I'm like depressed. I go back. I roll through everything. And then I reach bargaining state. So when I rolled back, I could get another apple to spawn. It'll be a silver quality apple, which is really annoying from an inventory perspective. And it takes about 15 seconds of step manipulation more to get me to this exact frame. So I'm like, okay, so I am 15 seconds behind and like functionally like not doing a lot better. And I need to finish Artisan today. Because if I don't finish Artisan today, I don't get a keg today, which means that I will get a keg like on Winter 4, which means I have about an extra 6 days of sleeping that I have to do, which is like 30 seconds of time loss. So I can take 15 seconds of step manipulation to get here. I could take 30 seconds of just time loss, or I can see, is there a way for me to roll something today? And there's a couple different options here. It's a Friday. Sandy sells honey actually, which is like kind of mind-boggling to me. I didn't think about that at all. I didn't have Sandy really routed in at all. But I could have gotten that from the Oasis. That would have been pretty slow. That's 2 screen transitions and some menus, but like doable, faster than 15 seconds. Or we can get some cheese from the Desert Trader. And the Desert Trader just means I need to go get an emerald, which I already need to go to the mines today anyway, so like that seems pretty doable. It does force my hand. I now need to go manipulate an emerald somewhere. But I was so mad at myself when I got to this. I just could not believe that I just completely mismarked all of my notes, literally everywhere. I must have just been like, it's the same as exotic. And it's not, it turns out. We grab a quality sprinkler here because we don't want to water the rest of our crops for the rest of the run. And we have more than we can do with just a basic sprinkler. I was just so mad at myself. I could not believe that I just completely whiffed all of the routing against that. Turn in some fish, just again to get them out of our inventory, because we just had a complete inventory. We get to pick up that purple mushroom. Magically, these rooms actually completed. I'm shocked that they completed. Like, they actually, like, did this transition. I thought that they would just be completely borked. We get to finish our fodder bundle. We just turned in something there, probably frozen geode and purple mushroom. Oh, no, we don't have the frozen geode yet. Um, I have no idea. I have no idea when I fixed. We get to turn in our 10 salmon berries, which is nice. We get to turn in our pomegranate. We have all this stuff in our inventory that we're not really super thrilled about. We get to pick up the blueberry and trash it because we have a plum to turn in or put into our keg. Because we had to pick up that plum to actually move around inside of the side of the bat cave, so it just happened to get carried with us. What's the next pause frame I actually want to go to? So I have not been using this at all. I've just been kind of manualing it for a while. Uh, yeah, I think so. I think in hindsight, I probably should have routed Desert Trader anyways. So it probably warranted out. Now, the one thing I should have done is I should have probably gotten a second diamond so I didn't have to go to Gus's to buy a coffee. I think that was the like, and I just get a second triple shot. That would have been the smarter thing to do. Uh, but I'm only realizing that like now. So it's not super relevant at the time. Here makes no sense. And I will admit that this makes no sense. I only catch a carp right now. And a part of this is purely because I wasn't sure how much I was going to be able to get done today. So we will come back later and we're going to catch the rest of the fish that we need from this. But at the time I got here, I had no idea how much was going to happen today because I still need to go 30 floors of the mines. I need to go to the Skull Caverns. I need to buy my crops and plant them. And then I need to come back, do more fishing, and then get to the eel in time. So right now, I was originally planning, assuming that I wasn't going to be able to do all of the mountain fish today. And I was expecting to have to pick them up in winter. And so because it turns out I was just fast enough, I could pick them all up today anyways. But the carp you cannot get in winter, so I got it right now. Right, this is basically like a hedge against the fact that I can't get a carp in winter. And if I need to, I can flex some of the fish from today into the winter catch. That is basically what's happening. Now it turns out again, I have all the time in the world somehow. Because I guess probably almost entirely because I'm manipulating the fish, like the catch times, such that it doesn't really matter. So we pick up all the stuff that we dropped forever. Now we gotta do 30 floors of mines pretty quickly. Am I pausing on? I'm pausing on that one, okay. And we gotta go to 120. This guy did not want to drop me a ladder when I tried killing him, so I just gave up. That guy gets melted. Overall, pretty decent, I would say, mines here. Also, we maniped luck today, obviously. I never actually talk about the fact that I like maniped luck for the 2 days I've been in the mines, but I have like, what is my mines luck today? What you're telling me luck? Yeah, today's luck is 0.095. I think it's almost the exact same for the other one. So like, pretty reasonable. Here what I'm doing is I'm trying to get this stupid shadow brute to walk up to a reasonable tile. So if we were to go view this thing, this is where my ladder is supposed to spawn. This is the closest ladder I have to me. So if I can get him to come up here, that's better. I desperately want this purple mushroom because, again, I don't know if I'm going to get another purple mushroom easily. I could probably manip one on the farm. I have manipped different ones accidentally in some of the test runs that I do, but I want this now because I have it in front of me and it's just like, I need it. It's fine. And again, there is no time loss provided I get to the beach at 4 o'clock for Indio. So everything I do here is basically just like, hey, dude, please walk up. Just walk up. And he occasionally wants to walk to the side, and we figure it out. Yeah, exactly. And then we just slowly, and this is again one of the interesting things about dagger like movement is like you're slowly moving forward, and you just need to make sure that you're not overlapping the tile that he's going to be on when he breaks. So like we're getting real close, but we just barely don't hit it. And then we get to break him for that. Next frame that I want to get to is, yeah, no, this is why like I really like dagger tech, and I am like very sad that it has been marked as glitched or as like non-glitchless, because I think it's really cool, and it's like it's definitely mostly cool for me because of TAS. I think it's like borderline still useless for everybody else, but like I think in TAS it's like outrageously cool. The rest of this, I think we have a pretty casual, which is like we're going down to 120. Oh, I think we got. Did we get a ruby? We might have just gotten a ruby. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. I think it just like makes it interesting. So we get our emerald here. So this is our backup. We are saved from the fact that I completely screwed up earlier. So I don't have to worry about it. We can just move on with our lives. Basically, none of the chests later in here were worth anything. We could get a second emerald here. I don't think I have a need for another spicy eel, but I could get one. I just don't think I need it. Again, we take some damage. Moving onwards. This floor, we nuke this guy. That guy also, the mechanic of fighting that guy is I could not get him to spawn one in the initial volley. So I had to back off so that I could... Yeah, this is something we could argue for forever, Piano. I'm generally on your side for this. The mechanic way that it works is different though, Mermaid, and it's literally just the fact that it just stops the thing from like operating as intended. The hammer goes back to a neutral state. We had to like fight this guy very carefully so that we weren't overlapping the tile because he really badly wanted to hug us, which is like not a thing we wanted. And he probably didn't want to die, which is fair, but like he had to, and he needed to not be on the same tile as us. So we come through here. We grab a diamond out of this. The frame you break that on determines what node drops, or like what item drops. So we get our diamond, so we get a triple shot. This is again where I'm like, we could have gotten another diamond much earlier in the run. And that's a debris moment. That is like very clearly me standing there being like, for the love of God, please just magnetize to me. And it's like that moment where I'm like, I kind of wish I had the stupid magnet ring, but I don't. We keep racing through. This is the only, like one of the only real manips that I'm gonna do explicitly for monster drop table on the next floor. It's not because of iframes. It's because of the counter not returning back correctly. They're slightly different code-wise. We could dig into it later if you want, but they are slightly different. I'm definitely on your side though, but like I recognize where the argument comes from. Here we're gonna do some very light manipulation because there is a shadow brute that spawns on the next floor. That I need to have a very specific item to drop. So we just did a little bit of menu manip there. No, it's because well, if that's what we said, that's not what came up in mod chat, but yeah, sorry. Here is a great overswing. We are so far away from this rock. So outrageously far away. And we could step our way into breaking this rock, which I find fun. So we actually get into the tile. I know there's a ladder there. We gotta go kill a guy first. It's very important that we kill this thing. I don't really need to kill that squid kid. He just seemed to be there in the wrong place at the wrong time. He popped real good. This guy needs to die. And I could not get him to spawn a ladder easily, so I just gave up. But he gives me an iridium bar. And now we have an iridium bar for the die bundle. So, don't have to worry about that. This is one of those things that I don't know if people could do this RTA. But ostensibly, if you're here, you could click the chest. I brute forced that. So the specific thing I did is I went and checked. Yeah, no, we got Dwarf Scroll 3, which is pretty hype. What I did is I basically looked and said how many RNG calls are happening by the time that his drop table gets checked. And then I went and I manipulated that portion. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Piano. The rest of this will all be up on YouTube in some capacity. So if you want to catch the end of it later, feel free. Hope you have a good flight. You can open your inventory to skip the... Yeah, for sure. You can basically open that chest and then immediately run up here to try and get to the ladder dialog box so that you avoid the key pickup animation, right? Which is what the journal updated new journal entry happened here. So there's not a lot of time here, but you can skip this animation if you can just barely make it to this ladder in time. I think the menu pops you out of it. I think if you were to menu, you would pop back out and it would force you to watch it again. Oh, can you? Maybe you can. I don't remember. Certain things that you do that for, the menu, just like when you leave menu, it pops the thing anyways. Okay. So we have now finished the mines. We are able to get into the Skull Cavern. We have all the things we need for our backup. So we have... Yeah, that's where I wasn't sure. Because I know Lost Book doesn't work that way. The artifacting doesn't work that way. We have our backup for Artisan and this, which are going to turn into cheese. We have stuff for a triple shot and a spicy eel. Let's go to Pierre. Again, complete disaster of a run, but again, nothing really matters here until 4 o'clock. The only thing that we probably lose a little bit of time on is some screen transitions, which are about 75 frames a pop. So not great, but routing is hard and I'm dumb. So this is where we're at. Can Artifact pop you out of Marnie? That's in an event, so I don't think so. That's a very different thing. Catch 3 fish, go 30 floors. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty normal day, right? 3 fish, 30 floors of the mines. We have gone all over the map at this point. We've been on half of the map already. And then we're here at Pierre's at 11 o'clock, which is pretty good. We're going to buy our seeds. We only need to buy an amaranth and a yam. We probably could figure out how to get a yam out of a Dougie at some point, but I just don't. It doesn't really matter, and I have to do crops anyways. We pick up the doll finally here. So I think when the Marnie cutscene happens, you might be on a pseudo farm. You might not be actually on your farm map, the proper farm map, in the same way that certain times it just pops you into a different world. I don't actually know. We'd have to look at it. My guess is no. But I'm actually unclear. That'd be kind of cool though. That might be worth just exploring, seeing if we could play with some of the tile manipulation stuff. Okay, we got to go plant all our things. We make it easier to get here. We finally open the mail to get our cookies from Mom. Thanks, Mom. We're going to manip these mixed seeds to give us the specific stuff that we need. We'll plant the rest of our crops. And we're good to go. I think so. And now we are off to the desert. You do not want to be any further to the right than this. Better piano. Because what'll happen is the like movement will automatically try to center you in the tile. So if you're over here to the right, what'll actually happen is it'll move you left, up, and then right. If you're here, it'll just move you up and then right. So you lose a little bit of time if you're a little bit further to the right. You actually need to be at least on the left side of this tile. Preferably as close to the center as you can get. Which is super weird. Exactly. So it almost works exactly the same way, where it's like basically centering you in the tile, and it does its tile based on center tile movement. All right, so we're going to come through here. Let's see, next thing. I'm immediately going to say, I don't know why I pick up these two cactus fruit and not this one. It does not matter, but I don't know why I pick up these two and not this one. Oh, yeah, Mermaid, I do the exact same thing. So I use the task pathing stuff specifically to show me what the line should look like, and then usually you'll be a couple frames faster if you do it manually. Or you'll solve a problem where like the task pathing does not know how to walk through grass. Which can cause a significant problem. So we're going to pick up these two cactus fruits. Again, there's no reason that I picked these two up and not that one. They're all the same. Nothing we do matters here. This desert trader bails us out. We get our triple shot. We get our spicy eel. We get this cheese. And we're done. We pet the camel for good luck. And then we grab this coconut. And then we are back to trying to manip. And there's actually a different one on this floor too. So this one has clay in it, which means I can get a thing. This one also has clay in it. And this was originally what I was thinking about, because I could go buy honey today and I could get this down here to do whatever. But this would be pretty... this is a lot of extra walking. And again, I probably have the time for it, but it's not ideal. So, for now, at least, this was sort of a, like, not going to worry about this, but I could get another totem if I wanted to in principle today. Here again, we're just slowly... actually, this was one that I happened to get manip pretty fast. I get a mountain totem, which is perfect because, again, routing today is just a mess. So having a mountain totem is really convenient to have because I'm going to need to go back to the mountain. We're going to go down. This is maybe the best floor I could have gotten. And I, like, again, didn't try. Like, this is, like, the first floor that I tried to roll in the Skull Caverns is this one. And it's, like, super, super nice. I still need a red mushroom. So, like, already that's huge for me. And more importantly, this is a warp totem inside of it. This is a farm warp totem, which, like, completely like destroys my entire thought process on what the route is going to be. One of my biggest struggles in this route is that I don't know how to get a common mushroom. There are like literally no common mushrooms that spawn on this run. And so the only one I could find easily I can get today is this one here. Is one that I'm going to get here in a little bit. And this farm totem makes that possible. So we paused the frame, and I went a little bit further than I wanted to. We paused the frame before the in-game clock ticks. So just before like it returns to 12:10. So like if I unpause, that frame will be at 12:10. And we pause here because we're trying to manipulate an enemy to spawn, particularly a serpent to spawn, that has a rabbit's foot in its drop table. This again is mostly manual. I looked and saw what the actual requirement was going to be in terms of like what the RNG was going to look like, and then I'm slowly just stepping that RNG forward manually to do it. So it's not as bad as some of the other manips, but it kind of still sucks. But like it comes out to be fairly quick overall. So we just, you know, continue to iterate this thing. We have quite a number of frames. This is significantly faster than the 30 seconds of hype that existed in the original CC TAS. Right? We just, you know, need to come through here. That serpent basically spawns. I actually don't think my like viewer shows serpents at all, which is like scary in some ways. But there's a serpent over here that is lurking. And actually there's a serpent over here that's lurking that doesn't show up apparently. And so this is not the one. But he needs to die because this guy very easily can kill me. He 100% wants to kill me, and there is not a lot I can do about it. And I don't have the lead rod in my inventory at this point. I didn't have the space for it. Yeah, their hitboxes are gigantic. He also drops a bomb, but I don't need bombs at this point. I just need him to not kill me. I don't know why I break this rock. There's literally zero reason for me to break this rock. I do need to break this totem. Get that totem. I want this guy. Then I gotta stab this guy to death. And he has a rabbit's foot, which is very convenient. Again, I don't know why this rock is broken. I'm gonna use this as a moment while I'm waiting for things to vacuum up to me to basically clear inventory of all the garbage that I don't need. Sorry, Dwarf Scroll 3. Sorry, coal. Sorry, copper. Sorry, gold. We get our totem, and we're back to the farm. Now, if I didn't pick this up here, I definitely would not have done the run that I do. This only happened because I got the beach totem, or the farm totem there, basically. But on my farm, I happen to have a red mushroom that I can go pick up. So that's like super convenient. We just pick this guy up here. And then, you know, it's 12:30. We've done a lot of stuff today. Let's go make sure that we hit literally every map that I can possibly walk to at this point. The only one we don't do is the backwoods, obviously. But, you know, what are you going to do? And this is literally the only common mushroom I could find, unless I'm willing to manip one onto the farm, or I'm willing to go out on a day that I don't need to go out on. So this is it. This is my only option. Again, it's 1 o'clock. Nothing matters here as long as we're done by 4 o'clock. And I'm going to keep saying that because all of this is jank and feels weird. Should have used the mushroom cave. I agree. Let's forget about the 15 to 6, like, probably, what, 17 items or something stupid that I get out of that cave. Definitely should have gone mushroom farm. And so at this point, it's 1 o'clock, 1:10, and I'm like, I have all the time in the world. I've literally been everywhere. I've done everything. And I still have like basically 3 hours to go catch an eel. So, or to be at the beach to catch an eel. Here I need to long cast because I need to catch a silver quality walleye. So I'm casting into deeper water out here to make it so I can actually catch a silver quality, so I can perfect it and turn it into a gold quality. I am just thinning this bobber to be in this tile. It is real close. You don't want to max cast. Let's come through. We gotta perfect this fish, so we will have to see the jingle. The walleyes are easy, so you don't have to worry about it. Again, we're manipulating the rings so that they're not super long. So I think the longest ring I do is on the order of like 3 to 4 seconds. At least on today. On the final day, there's some that might be 10 seconds long. So we got our 2 walleyes. We are gonna catch, what is this? Largemouth? Largemouth. Which again, we gotta catch as a gold. Could have gotten a treasure chest. No reason to get a treasure chest. Though actually, I wonder sometimes if there are items I should be looking at getting out of treasure chests like this. Like, you could potentially make this the source of your ancient doll if you needed it to be. That would be disgusting. What you would basically do for that is when it's on the screen, the contents of that chest are not determined until you click off of this. So, like, once you click off of this, that's when it starts the chest open animation. And this is where you could basically wait on this frame to manipulate one. The problem is that I have literally no control over RNG at this point. So manipulating chest items is like, you need to be manipulating them while catching the fish, which is just a disaster. So, not easily doable. In theory, doable, though. Here we catch, I don't remember what anymore. We catch our bullhead. So we've got basically everything we need to catch here. We still need to catch a sturgeon. We still need to catch a chub, but we can catch those in winter. We're now going to go catch all the river fish. Again, it's not there because it sucks. It's like the mantra for the run. Here, we're going to catch our shads. We got to get these gold quality shads, which we're actually catching silvers. That'll be perfect. Now we're only going to catch a regular shad. Oh, here's our catfish. Catfish are mean. This one actually we did okay on. Overall, there were a lot worse. Some of these fish take a lot of manipulating to get. This is a tiger trout that is not being super mean to us. We still get the like very minor frame off, so we don't have to catch the perfect animation. We could have perfected that guy easily. We just chose not to. That catfish, I don't think I can because of how fast he moves up. And then we have a normal shad that we just have to, like, not perfect catch. And that's all of our fish here. Again, it's only 2:30. We've been to, like, almost every screen of the map. We have caught, like, I don't know, 10 fish. We've gone 30 floors of the mines. And we're going to do a bundle turn-in. Our second bundle turn-in of the day, mind you. To finish most of the things out here. Yeah, definitely not because I'm bad. Are the fishing patterns exact same on reruns? Yes. So the patterns are global RNG based. So when a fish spawns, it picks a particular location that it wants to target to. And then depending on the fish quality, like the fish type, so like if it's a dart or a smooth or whatever, determines when it chooses to like deviate from that target, or when it reaches that target, it picks the next one. All of those like selection stuff is RNG based, which is the same. Otherwise, like I couldn't replay this for you here. So we get our cheese in. So we get to back up the stupid keg, which is great. We definitely need it. We don't have the funniest spot for the keg. It's understandable, but like we got to turn it in over here, just because it's better. Got to do it. We finally get to finish our children's bundle. The children will rejoice. They have a weird doll and some weird berries we got off the ground and some cookies, I guess, that we've had in the mail for over like a month or two. We get to turn in most of our items there, and we're basically done again. We didn't turn in the walleye because there's no reason to open that menu. I only need enough inventory. I have enough inventory space now for the rest of the run. There is not a single good trash item, I feel like, this entire run. Now, this is one of the areas that I wish I had gotten an earlier diamond, because I could just avoid buying a coffee here. That's fair. The Junimos don't know what kids like either. If I had gotten a diamond earlier, I could have just avoided that that buy. Then I'm gonna make this happen because I care about this a lot. I have not paused. I've not let the thing run itself in a while. Is that the right frame? Yeah, I think so. So we're gonna cast these things. We fast catch the 2 extra fish that we need. Do you have enough opportunities to open trash to get a trash hat? I don't think so. Not and to be on time to Pierre. So we catch our sardine and our red snapper. I'm desperately trying not to catch that thing. I also exhaust out here so I can do this. Now this makes me so happy. I'm going to turn the info panel on. Because this is so cool to me. So this is the actual time. So it's 3:50 right now. And this tick is the actual like time inside of that 10-minute window. So this ranges up from like 0 to 7,008. Is basically what the last one is. So we're gonna pre-cast here. We're gonna get the nibble. And it's not yet 4 o'clock. We are a couple frames early. But I wait. And on this frame here, I click. And I get the hit. So I'm like basically frame perfectly catching an eel at 4 o'clock. Which I think is just like, or I'm like 1 frame off of catching the eel perfectly. Which I think is just so freaking cool. Which is like definitely not visible, I think, in a run. I think you'd be hard-pressed to notice that the like 4 o'clock timer happened at the exact moment here. But this is like damn near perfect eel placement. And I was just so happy that this actually like worked out. So anyways, I just wanted to show that off because that's something that I was really excited about. All right, we can just kind of unpause this. Now the rest of this is just like, we're going to catch this eel. The eel goes up really fast. We can't perfect catch it anyways, so it's fine that we get to not have to deal with a perfect jingle. Yeah, it's this river. I didn't have time to go to the rock, so that was really the problem. And now we're gonna sleep to ball 27. For sure. For sure. Again, if I could have made it to the rock, I would have. But I didn't have time to make it to the rock. So, otherwise I would have 100% done it. Yeah, then basically we're sleeping until fall. Holy shit, we've been going for 3 hours. Okay, well. There's not a lot to really go through here. I don't even think I have to step manip anything. If I have to do any step manip, it's probably that I just like happen to have one moment that a like weed was gonna spawn on top of a crop, and I was like, that can't happen, and then I rolled back and took like 1 step, and it would be fine. But it looks like right now I don't think I've taken a single overnight step. I know. The worst part about this run is there's actually not like a lot of time for memeing. Like in like a lot of my other runs, usually I'm more beholden to like NPC timing, or like their open times or whatever, or like I have to go wait for somebody to do something. And you have loads of time to just meme about stuff. But like in this run, I got nothing. This also pissed me off because there is literally none of the predictors say I'm supposed to get a meteor today, I don't think. So I like all of the predictors I think are wrong. or something happened, and I was like, what has happened? Why do I get a stupid meteor? That pickup there is amazing. I probably shouldn't have let that just auto go by. That pickup is really cool. I, again, like that one a lot. But it's just more harvesting stuff that always just looks super satisfying to do. I don't remember. I don't think I script for those types of things. It actually, I think, is a glitch, which is too bad. Now we're gonna beach totem out. We're gonna go catch our last fish, basically. Did I put a pause frame for this? Okay, I did. We need to actually catch a goldfish here because we cannot perfect a tuna. It turns out that the way tunas work, let's show it. Load engine fishing. So this green bar is where our actual fishing bobber is. I'm a little offset, but I use this for fishing instead of the actual thing because this is actually accurate to where the thing is. This blue line, which who knows if this is visible on the stream at all. It's a line for ants. It's fine. Then there's this red line here is where the fish actually wants to go. Tunas don't care about what you do. They're like, I want to go to that red line because they're a smooth type fish. And he moves so fast here that I literally can't perfect it. Physically impossible. I hold, the click button the entire time and it just outspeeds me. You could try to manipulate it to move slower, but then you're not moving up, and so it's still going to beat you. So we have to be able to cast super deep, because he's instantly past us. Instantly past us. We're able to catch back up to him. Also, weirdly, the overlap is 1 frame delayed in the code. So if you're overlapped on a frame and not overlapped on the next one, you get like 1 frame of buffer, which is kind of weird. Let's overlay off. I don't actually like that view at all. I'm gonna overlay off. Actually, what do I want right now? Well, most of that stuff I don't care about. But... oh no, I wanted the timer panel on. I don't want the info panel. Yeah, so you actually can't perfect catch a tuna at least level 2. So you have to cast out far enough that it is a gold quality by default. So also I have to manipulate that I get a gold quality tuna on the line such that I can catch it. Now why I catch a second gold quality tuna, no idea. Not a clue. I'm also way less like strict today about optimizing the catch times because I thought I had all the time in the world. I end up coming fairly close to not having all the time in the world, it turns out. We get our really easy winter forage there, no worries. P&O knew those were right there. He was like, yep, boom, boom, perfect. Just like they drew it up. Then we're going to go get the rest of our forage. I'm going to turn off the weapon guide because it's kind of annoying. This is also like amazingly located. You just get a crystal fruit and a crocus like directly on path. Like no worries about it whatsoever. And then I have some time, so I'm going to come over here and just get these to give me one last totem that I need. And we had to wait a little bit, but we get our mountain totem out of it either way. Yeah, exactly. It's just that easy. We take the background strats because it's fun. I know, and And so, like, Crystal Fruit RNG is, like, secretly one of those things where I was like, I kind of wish I had gotten one from a Dust Sprite earlier. Because, like, it just solves the run if you get one from a Dust Sprite. Like, you don't have to think about it. I don't know what I was doing there from a movement perspective. We got to catch our Chub, which I think I set the max time to, like, 10. Yep. So there is a Dino Egg there. We could have gotten a Dino Egg today. So missing bundles when is, like, kind of a meme, but also, like, you know, thing. Oh, is it back there? I didn't even think about that. If I had realized, I 100% would have done that. Here we got to catch the sturgeon. Sturgeons are actually mean. This guy probably took me 15 to 20 resets to get done. Oh, I thought you needed the note. By the way, I haven't triggered the note. I haven't triggered that cutscene, so I can't get notes. This guy, once I got him into the bar, I was pretty good, but he really wanted to fight me. And so we got lucky there. Again, sweet little dino egg. And now we got to exhaust. And I probably could have exhausted a little bit more efficiently. Like, I could have walked here and exhausted at the same time. When I tried that in a replay, it ended up being slightly slower because I had a harder time with the wood chipper, actually. Like, I line up and get pretty decent wood chipper RNG, which is, like, not a guarantee. Is, like, walking and swinging faster? Yes. Because what happens is, like, on the cancel frame, you move, like, the 5 units or 5.28 units. So what I would say, the way I fish in the tasks is, like, I'm basically, like, I can frame advance, right? So I'm frame advancing at, like, a constant rate. So maybe, like, I don't know, five frames a second type of framing. And I'm clicking in sequence with that to try and, like, match it. So I'm playing much slower than that. And then when I realize that I've gotten myself into a bad state, I reset back, like, 30 frames and then try to catch where the fish is about to go to. It's honestly a pain in the ass. But I tried to load my old fishing scripts, and they worked horribly. And then I just gave up and was like, I'm manualing this entire thing. So, I find it, well, I'm bad at fishing normally. So, here we open this menu. We have to wait for the stupid safety timer. By the way, Mermaid, this is what I was talking about. Current menu.safety timer. There's 366, which divided by 16, it's basically 23 frames that I have to wait before this thing comes through. Right, so 2 more frames. Now I can do it. You might be able to get it on the frame before that. I never remember if, like, the frame that the safety timer ends you can do, or if it's the one that after the thing. So now, we're still doing the construction bundle, so we need to buy 200 wood and 100 stone. Oh, and we're done. And we bought our wood chipper. So, the 25 buy at a time is really strong. It's really strong. And I'm very grateful that CA put that in there. So, now we're going to exhaust out. And I've played with various, like, is it faster to exhaust out beforehand, afterhand? Doesn't really matter. It's, like, maybe a little bit faster in certain contexts. You can delete stuff and exit menu at the same time or something that I learned. I didn't realize that. I know that you don't have to be precise about the first click on a menu open. You can just click pick up any item. Excuse me. Click pick up any item on the first frame that you want to. So you don't have to, like, I believe that. So, like, if you were to, like, open the menu and you want to, like, delete an item, you can just open the menu, have your mouse wherever it is, and you can immediately on the next frame mouse over the item that you want to click in advance on the same frame, or at the same moment, and it'll just pick up the item into your inventory. So you don't have to be like frame perfect or like pixel perfect on the mouse when you open the menu, for example. Here we get the stupid lag that I wish I understood, but sometimes your character just does not want to do stuff when you exhaust. I put down the wood chipper. I need to find a good frame to put this hardwood in, so I'm waiting a little bit. We find it. This now will give us an oak resin. This is like the easiest source of an oak resin I could find. And we're going to go to sleep. And we're pretty much done. The rest of this is just turn-ins. We pick it up. Yeah, it's frames. We pick it up. We mountain warp. We eat our food and drink our coffee. And we are off to turn in. Oh, I'm interested in that. Oh, really? Interesting. I've tried like canceling. I've tried lots of weird things. Oh, maybe you could like scythe cancel or something. So yeah, we do all of our turn-ins. We picked up the wine on the way over here, which, you know, we now see in our inventory. We finish the dye bundle, finish these bundles, finish our fish. We are again gonna overlap. They're not seated. They're actually like one of the few unseated things. As it was happening, I think, because game was like, you're still holding click. Oh, interesting. But I'm not clicked, so that's weird. And like the game wouldn't have that input, I don't think. I need to go look into that, because that's, if you could stop it from doing that, that'd be really good. Yeah, so wood chippers are frame RNG, and they're like one of the only machines that's frame RNG. Is that right, Mermaid? Oh, Slime Meg Press is also unseated. Okay. Again, here's some more movement that exists purely. We are again very upset about this whole situation. The apples are very happy. We're not doing great here. I could see that. Wait, so is that just a... I feel like people have said they've gotten stuck before. That might just literally be a task logic problem that I have to go fix. I could believe that. But anyways, we're doing a bunch of movement here because the cutscenes are just totally jacked. Right? Like, we have not yet actually seen the message that tells me, thank you for turning this in. Where are the Junimos? We don't get those types of cutscenes here. That's what I thought. I think there's just something that happens. Now, it doesn't always happen though, and so it's unclear sometimes why it happens. But again, we get a little bit more completely void walking. We get to turn in our winter forage. And then we get to turn in our construction bundle, and we are done. We're going to walk up here because there's no real thing to do. And we're just waiting for ticks. Now, we have not seen a Junimo message as far as I'm aware, other than this one. I think literally every single other one glitched in some way because of how we finished it. So this is the only one that we get. And our timer will pause at 3393. So we got a sub 40-minute run. We got about a sub 3 hour and 10-minute explanation. So that's pretty good. We'll continue on to the cutscene because we might as well. But yeah. That was Remixed Community Center. This is the one cauliflower that I didn't have to delete or eat. Having the extra cauliflower for food was really, really nice. So that, you know, that worked out really, really well from a money perspective at the beginning of the run. Most of the run overall, I think, actually comes across pretty well. So actually, there was an ancient doll. You might not have seen it, but on that day, there was an ancient doll at the bus stop, which is like another one of those, like, I had a backup somehow. that I didn't plan for, but it was nice to have. Yeah, I think honestly, basically at this point, I think it's honestly like my favorite thing is when you finish a run like this, I think you should always end on a save screen, and I think you should let every cutscene play out that is triggered by your route. Right. So in Vault Percent, I finished after the Vault, like the bus completion cutscene. For this one, I think it's worth going to town and just seeing the cutscene. I think it makes it. I think it's just fun. It makes it complete. It feels complete at that point. You do have to turn off the auto cancel cutscenes thing, which I have. Which when I got here the first time, I was like, "Oh shoot!" and it reset. And I was like, "I gotta freaking reset again. This is so stupid." But yeah, I'll let Morris get yeeted. It's very important. Pierre will go to jail for the rest of his life. All the normal stuff here, basically. I'm curious if I had put that keg in a different spot, if like Clint would have broken it. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Like I'm curious in this moment if they can break my keg. I don't know. I guess I actually don't know how pathing works in here in general. We get our trophy. That's pretty important. Yeah, I mean, if I had thought about it, I'd have put it in their way to do it. But I didn't. So this is where we are now. But oh, poor Morris. All of his customers. Oh, the fact that I like didn't advance these really fast. Yeah. I think you should like. This is definitely the like. I'm gonna speed up the like end of them, but I want the typing to come out because it's part of the like cadence of the cutscene to me. I don't know. I mean, the run's over. There's no reason for me to go fast anymore. There's nothing really else to do other than let the game play itself. So get him. Poor Robin is just frozen in fear. Gunther could not give less of a shit just casually staring at his books. He's just like, this is fine. I'm used to just casual violence. That would have been mean. I wasn't gonna skip the cutscene then. That would have been stupid. Get some prehistoric tools. Oh yeah, I can see that. And that's the run. Then it pauses here because this is the last frame I recorded. You can switch to edit mode again. This basically lets me come through and do whatever I want. Yeah, I think that covers pretty much all the stuff. This was 3 hours and 15 minutes. Is a lot longer than I thought this was going to take, but I'm glad I got to do it. I'm glad folks were happy to sit around and chat and ask questions and kind of walk through stuff. I might just throw the literally entirety of the thing unedited up because I don't care. But how did I decide where to place the trophy at the end? I didn't. It's a stupid answer. I just put it basically to like mirror the chest and was like, this seems good enough, and I walked away at that. We'll go with that.